Having Otsutsuki Hamura chakra and having Otsutsuki chakra are two natures. In theory, all descendants of Otsutsuki Yuya and Hamura have Otsutsuki chakra. How much is the difference and whether it is revealed? For example, Indra and Ashura, because they were born of Yuya and a human woman, coupled with the influence of the power of the fruit of the sacred tree, are no longer pure blood Otsutsuki, but they also have Otsutsuki genes. A simple summary is the white eyes, Sharingan, Senju Uzumaki constitution, Otsutsuki constitution. These are the descendants of Yuya and Hamura, and they are the cornerstones leading to the 6 paths level. The Force awakens Rinnegan, due to the weakest 6 paths level. The 6 paths power given to Indra and Ashura chakra by the sage of 6 paths is a key. When their reincarnation develops their own power to ultimate, they can rely on a single power to strengthen into the 6 paths level. So Naruto had the power of 6 paths yang at his peak, and Sasuke had the power of 6 paths yin. And Otsutsuki Hamura, in his prime, was clearly also a strong 6 paths class. His chakra is also a key. If Hinata develops the white eye to the extent corresponding to Mangekyo Sharingan, there is a chance to directly activate Tenseigan. From this point of view, it is not surprising that Hinata will be favored by the Otsutsuki caste, known as the White-Eyed Princess. As for Hinata being weak, Arzuzi, as the reincarnation of Indra, doesn't seem to be that strong. But I clearly remember that Hinata got Hamura chakra after being taken to the moon by a sacrificial person, and only got it after seeing Hamura's soul. Hamura gave him chakra. Just like Naruto and Sasuke have the power of 6 paths, they are all temporary, to make her look down. She lost Hamura chakra after she smashed the giant Tenseigan with 8 trigrams. How can you have it now? Strange, really weird. In the temple of Hamura inside the moon, Zhao Yuchen's body is suspended in midair. The meridians on both sides of his eyes bulged, and the black pupils turned into pure white, with suspicious colors appearing in them. He did not transplant the white eyes, but received the Hinata white eyes copied from the diary, which means that his current white eyes are the same as Hinata's a few days ago in terms of purity, development level and all internal genes. And with his current strength, it is easy to feel that these white eyes are highly developed, and they already have the effect of increasing their own abilities, enough to correspond to the 3 Tomo Sharingan, and further to correspond to the Mangekyo Sharingan, which can awaken the exclusive powerful pupil technique. For example, Kagaya has white eyes and coercion, which emits a huge coercion through the white eyes, which can directly shock the people around to the state of fainting, and even cause substantial damage to objects, which only Kagaya can do. Another example is Beian Ganjutsu, in which Kagaya directly controls Hamura's thoughts, and Otsutsuki Yuya kills each other. Kagaya also has the ability to see through other people's thoughts directly with his white eyes, which is not to say that he is not strong. Otsutsuki's golden eyes can be illusory, and Dao's eyes can see through the fate of others. Besides having Hamura chakra, Hinata's white eyes are not well developed. Except for chakra's volume, he may be close, but his strength is comparable to that of the Hyuga family Jonin, and he is better than many common Jonin. Zhao Yuchen felt that he had discovered a big event. This has to be said and shared, it's recorded. Back to the 3rd day of the moon. Constitution has developed to the top level, chakra volume has soared to the level comparable to most tailed beasts, common attack can't hurt me or kill me, you can turn on sage mode in seconds, battery life is calculated in hours. I don't even use up 1/10 of the stars in my hand. Devouring them all should be enough to develop constitution to the peak level equivalent to Senju Hashirama. With the scorch style I have now, the hard power can be above Hashirama. Happy, dance, Madara, do you want to cry? Diary, updated. Everywhere in the ninja world, the eyes of women holding a copy of the diary lit up. In the past 3 days, Zhao Chen did not write small compositions until the last hour of the day. That's right, it's just a 1,000-character essay, describing some fancy things, which made them develop a lot of poses. But they couldn't be happy, because besides mentioning Kagaya who was on the moon, Yu Chen also missed Xian and the others, and almost didn't write their names. This led to the fact that for the past 3 days, the rewards belonged to the woman Kagaya. And now, he is finally going to start writing a diary normally again? Has Yu Chen grown to this extent? In Hokage's office, Tsunade's eyes lit up. For Yu Chen's strength, she can now finally have a relatively clear understanding. It can be understood that Senju Hashirama lacks Sage Mode in its heyday and does not have Wood-style blood succession limit, but it can learn Flying Thunder God technique, Rasengan, Kagura Mind Eye, Scorch-style blood succession limit, etc., but Sage Mode can be learned casually. comprehensive strength should surpass Senju Hashirama. It is definitely not an exaggeration to say that he is the number one person under 6 paths. Tsunade. Letting go, the status of the first or even the only hidden village, Konoha, is disrespectful. Temari. The weakest hidden village, don't want to talk. By Wooden Golem. Good news, if Cloud Shinobi Village ends up in the hands of 4th Raikage, he must have a wonderful expression, I will definitely record it. Terumi Mei. For 5th Mizukage, who should I love water? I definitely won't want it. Isn't that embarrassing? Samui, calm down. Forget it, I'm tired of talking. Black Soil. Grandpa is afraid when he sees a Uchiha Madara, and he is in awe of the god of ninja world. If it is a stronger Yuchen, let him be his grandson-in-law. Fragrant Phosphorus. Have you finally made a decision? Black Soil. Oh, I'm not stupid. I can be the number one woman in the ninja world. Even if I am not stupid, I should make a decision. What's so hypocritical? Conan. Good cognition. Temari. I have also decided that the dowry is the area where the Greer ore is located. What do you think? As Kage's daughter, Princess Sanagakure, it is absolutely no problem to marry a piece of land as a dowry. Even if the daimyo of the Land of Winds doesn't have a good relationship with Ifengying, he will definitely not be stingy on this point. As for the subsequent mining of Greer ore from this land, after Yu Chen played a powerful role, the daimyo of the Land of Winds wanted to snatch it back. Temari said that she doesn't care, as long as the daimyo of the Land of Winds has the courage to speak to Yu Chen. Tien, sister, please bring me. The main reason why their family is so rich is that they hold a chakra metal vein, and spend a lot of money to hire ninjas and konohas to guard it. So they almost monopolize the ninja equipment market, as well as the high-end ninja equipment customization market. But when the Greer lode appears, for example, it will have an impact on the market. Black Soil. Please bring me together, Sister Temari, I call your sister. Terumi Mei. I'm poor in Kirigakure, and I'm not rich. Sister Temari remembers to help my sister when the time comes. Conan. I'll give you the detonator, and you give me the Greer ore, how about it? Yi Kang. Give some Greer ore share, I can forget the grudges of the year. Anyway, she was destined to be resurrected, and the betrayal back then didn't have to happen. On the contrary, if you can really get benefits, isn't that better than killing people to vent your anger? And if Temari and Yu Chen get together, we are all on our own, so it is not easy for her to attack Luo Sha. Get a little benefit and enrich yourself for the rest of your life, even better. All of a sudden, all the girls began to chat with each other. Temari was flattered. The Land of the Winds is a well-known poor country, and Sanagakure is even more famous as a poor hidden village. Her father wants to subsidize the village's expenses by using magnet-style gold mining, which shows his heartache. If it weren't for being so poor, the Kingdom of Wind wouldn't be staring at the Kingdom of Fire all day long. And now, the Greer ore made her turn into a landlord. Is this the magic of money? Tsunade. It's a good idea. At that time, I will also ask the daimyo of the Country of Fire to give me the piece of land related to the Greer ore as a dowry. If he dares to say no, I will ask the elder and second grandpa to find him chat. Shizune. Master Tsunade, don't forget my apprentice. Tien. Master Tsunade, Ino, Master is here. Azuki Shien. Well, I'm just leading Jonin, not the master, that's all. Kushina. Sister Tsunade, Daodiju. For a while, Jongen began to curry favor with Tsunade again. Hinata. Ah. So even Sister Tsunade plans to marry Yu Chen big brother? There was a sudden silence in the chat group. Immediately afterwards, all the teasing expressions. After all, this old cow couldn't help but eat tender grass. TCH, who knows how old Yu Chen's real age was before time travel? It's still uncertain who is the tender grass. Tsunade's face was reddish, but still proud. At this time, Senju Hashirama suddenly found him with a serious expression. Shaogang, because Grandpa thinks, okay, I promise Grandpa. Senju Hashirama. What did I say? Whether it's for the Senju clan or for myself, I also know that you are doing it for my own good. I decided to be with Yu Chen, but this matter has to be done slowly, and the feeling must be cultivated first. Tsunade said seriously. Senju Hashirama nodded foolishly. Shaogang, you just need to understand. I know that you are doing it for my own good, Grandpa. Thank you, Grandpa Yin stared. Ha ha ha. Tell me this. Grandpa, I listened to you. Who made you a grandpa? Really? How can Tobarama compare to me? Not bad, not bad, Senju Hashirama nodded in satisfaction. Look, he still has to do it, what's the use of Senju Tobarama? Seeing that all the girls in the group began to tease Tsunade, Hinata smiled. But the next moment, 3 question marks appeared above her head. Constitution developed to the top level is just a trivial matter, now I have white eyes, ready to awaken Tensigen. At first I thought it would not be too easy, but after having white eyes, I found that things are much simpler and easier than I imagined. I can't help but want to ask, Hinata actually lost to Hyuga Neji in the Chunin exam, could it be that he was let go? Uchiha Itachi, you learned from me, Hinata-chan, right? Hinata. What released the sea? Suspicion appeared in Hinata's pure white eyes. But now she is no longer just Hyuga Hinata, but Hinata with a little bit of cobalt. Thinking about it carefully, she probably understood what Bai Chen meant by these words. When I said that I lost to Neji Big Brother in the Chunin exam, it meant that I would have faced Neji Big Brother in the Chunin exam, and with my original personality and strength, I was indeed no match for Neji Cousin. If it weren't for Chen Big Brother, my father probably hasn't told Cousin Neji the truth, he must still hate the clan, and he will definitely not show mercy when he faces me in the competition. But my current strength is stronger than that of many families Jonin, if I lose to Cousin Neji, it will be abnormal. Release the sea, it should be said to release the water, but the water is released a bit, which is very appropriate for the occasion. But there is one more problem. Hinata stared. Chen Big Brother. Why does it seem like he knows her strength like the palm of his hand? Is it because they know each other well? But he suddenly mentioned, in the diary, feeling strange. Hinata. Sisters, do you think Chen Big Brother is a little strange? After thinking for a long time but failing to figure it out, Hinata sent his guesses to the group. Azuki Shion. You said that. Chen suddenly mentioned you in his diary, and also mentioned that you put water on Neji, which is really weird. Samui. In this situation, it's like suddenly knowing Hinata's true strength. Conan. It is not impossible, and it can also answer our other doubts. By Wooden Golem. What? Conan. Rolling eyes. Where did Chen get rolling eyes? Terumi Mei. Got it, you mean, the reward for Chen to get the diary is to have a pair of white eyes, or to have Hinata's current white eyes. Shizune. That's right, as long as Chen writes a 1,000-character diary every day, he will be rewarded at midnight the next day. He has received the reward from 3 Tomo Sharingan before, and he will definitely be able to get the supercilious reward. If the reward is as accurate as it is now like Hinata, it's normal for him to be puzzled. Yi Kang. So, he has the same scorch style as me, also because of the diary reward. Tien. I really want blood succession boundary too. Terumi Mei. I am even more envious of your money-making ability. Hinata. Well, because my white eyes are highly developed and I have some special powers, it's normal for Chen Big Brother to feel confused. Azuki Shion. In this way, Chen-kun is equivalent to transplanting Hinata's eyes now. He has Otsutsuki constitution and has developed it to the top level. No wonder he has awakened his confidence Tensigen. Kushina. Once you have Tensigen, Chen is stronger than Uchiha Madara in peak state compared to Rinnegan. After all, he still has constitution. Black Soil. What kind of Rinnegan is known as the Fairy Eye? I have seen it in Uzumaki Nagato. I am really curious about Tensigen. Makoto. Well, you can just ask at Otsutsuki Kagaya directly. Makoto. Oh, sorry, I forgot that you are the grand ancestor of chakra, and you have not awakened Tensigen. Karama Yakumo. You Otsutsuki are really weird, you are not as good as others when you roll your eyes. Kagaya. It's ridiculous, don't use your narrow vision to figure out the noble concubine's body. It's not that the concubine's body cannot be opened, but you are more willing to keep your eyes and don't want to evolve it into a Tensigen. Makoto. I see that your Otsutsuki's real ancestry is stubborn. According to you, Uchiha Madara did everything possible to make Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan evolve into Rinnegan, isn't it a joke? As soon as this remark came out, all the girls covered their mouths and laughed lightly. They understood that Makoto didn't really think Otsutsuki Kagaya was being stubborn, but wanted to stimulate Kagaya to tell the reason why Otsutsuki did not choose to evolve the white eyes into Tensigen. If there is any special risk, they can't warn Chen. And with Kaguya's arrogant and conceited character, even if he is aware of Makoto's intentions, he will not choose to endure. The same is true. Kagaya. Ridiculous, I will teach you a lesson, so that you can know the next day. Kagaya. Tensigen is very good, it is a kind of powerful eyes. In terms of level, it is the same as Rinnegan. If you fully master it, you will be at the 6 paths level, and you can master the yin-yang escape technique. In terms of ability, turn on the Tensigan chakra mode to use the yin and yang escape technique that creates all things, use the truth-seeking ball as an attack method, and control the gravitational and repulsive forces. In addition, it also has the ability of space manipulation, which can create a space channel between 2 stars, can absorb chakra, endow puppets with vitality, summoning and so on. In terms of combat boost, Tensigan is even stronger than Rinnegan. Kagaya. However, Tensigan and Rinnegan have most of the same abilities, and their functionality is even slightly inferior to that of Rinnegan, who can F*K off the light path and the outside path. Kagaya. As long as you swallow the fruit of the sacred tree, you can awaken Guyu Rinnegan. Kagaya. Guyu Rinnegan, on the basis of possessing all the abilities of Rinnegan, can increase Guyu as the pupil becomes stronger, and can constantly awaken the exclusive Rinnegan pupil technique, which Tensigan cannot compare with. Kagaya. Owning Rinnegan is already equivalent to owning Tensigan. My Otsutsuki clan has a more powerful Guyu Rinnegan. Why do we need to awaken a pair of extremely powerful blinking eyes? Kagaya. On the contrary, it is white eyes. It has the abilities of telescopic vision, perspective, insight, and enhancement of one's own quality. Kagaya. Guyu Rinnegan can be improved by continuously swallowing the pills refined from the fruit of the sacred tree, and the power of white eyes can follow Guyu Rinnegan to increase, with more white eyes and increased basic abilities. Kagaya. If it were you, would you want to roll your eyes, or would you want Tensigan? After reading these words, all the women were stunned. Sure enough, the Otsutsuki family, as a cosmic colonization race that has been passed down for an unknown number of years, already has the most perfect line of strengthening, and every choice will be meaningless. Makoto. Got it, it's like I have an extra Tensigan. If I can make the Tensigan stronger, I won't think about evolving my square flower tube Sharingan into reincarnation. Kushina. More than that, as long as people plant trees and make alchemy, they can improve bloodline and Guyu Rinnegan. I don't have to struggle at all, and the white eyes and blood following the snare will rise with the tide. Of course I don't want Tensigan, I have to rely on myself. Black soil. So, isn't Tensigan eliminated by your Otsutsuki clan? Kagaya. Elimination? Do you think everyone in my Otsutsuki family is qualified to use Dan? Black soil. Well, I was wrong. In fact, he had just asked the question, and Haitubian realized that his question was a bit silly. Yu Chen wrote in his diary, and Kagaya-ji also said in a group chat that the Otsutsuki family is divided into the main family, and the family. Among them, the branch house guards the members of the family to cultivate 10 tails on the planet, and after they bear the fruit of the sacred tree, they refine them into pills and enshrine them to the family. That is to say, almost all branch house Otsutsuki, most of the main family Otsutsuki, cannot eat the fruit of the sacred tree and the refined pill. If you want to lie down and become stronger by constantly swallowing fruits, there must be only a very small number of Otsutsuki members who are qualified. Otherwise, Otsutsuki Kagaya would not have taken the risk, and was afraid that someone from the branch house of the clan would come and arrest her. That said, Tensigan is a good choice for most Otsutsuki branch houses, and many Otsutsuki branch house members. Kagaya. If the members of Otsutsuki branch house want to change their fate of being reincarnated as 10 tails sacrifices, the only way is to awaken the Tensigan, apart from being lucky enough to get rewarded by the family with blood follower snare and Rinnegan. Kagaya. Otsutsuki clansmen who own Tensigan can apply to join the battlefield to gain merits instead of planting trees. Merits can be exchanged for magic, fairy art, Otsutsuki family treasures, etc., to become stronger. Kagaya. If one's own talent is strong enough, owning Tensigan will even become stronger and rise faster than owning Rinnegan, because the fruit takes a long time to conceive. The girls understood. Swallowing the pill refined from the fruit of the sacred tree becomes stronger and easier, but it takes a long time and is prone to changes, and only a few people can do it. It is more dangerous to awaken Tensigan to become stronger, and more attention should be paid to talent, but the time is fast. Whether there is high or low is a matter of choice. Kagaya. Awakening Tensigan is nothing in the Otsutsuki family. Kagaya. Yukin didn't wake up at the beginning, and I don't know why Yu Chen has such confidence. Kagaya. The concubine is looking forward to seeing him disappear. In Shichu space, Lian Yi suddenly felt a little crazy. Because she hadn't finished talking, Yu Chen slapped her in the face again. The fusion is very smooth, Bayan has entered a metamorphosis state, and then the fetus will move once every other month, and Tensigan will be fully awakened after 3 months. However, one thing is beyond my expectation. During the evolution process of Bayan, the body should not change too much. This makes my original plan to continue to absorb the energy in the stars to upgrade the constitution and accelerate the evolution of Bayan. If I had known this earlier, I should have absorbed all the energy in the star first, and then opened the white eyes to awaken Tensigan. The time can be shortened. What a mistake, a mistake. However, when my Tensigan evolves successfully, with the help of Tensigan's absorption ability, it may not take long to absorb the stars. I don't have much time. It's just that in the next 3 months, I have to maintain a state of blindness. Fortunately, with Kagura Mind Eye and Dark Technique, there are not only problems. I really can't get used to it, and it's not impossible for me, for example, to use tools to control one eye like manipulating a giant Tensigan. Hey, look, what did I see? Uchiha Madara and Black Zetsu found Shenlong in a huge way. Is this going to cooperate with Konan, who was once wiped out by Konoha? Speaking of this Shenlong, it seems that he has mastered the ninjutsu that can allow people to have the ultimate physical body. Even if the 8 gates with 8 inner gates are turned on, they will die. It is a good thing to want. Seeing this, all the girls were shocked, even Kaguya was no exception. 8 inner gates are very strong, and can be used as a secret method to temporarily increase combat power and chakra volume. And the stronger the person uses it, the more obvious the improvement will be. At critical moments, it is enough to turn the tables against the wind. But the gate of death is open, and there is no doubt that he will die. There was surprise in Kaguya's eyes. A mere human can find life in who is immortal after using the 8 inner gates technique. When chakra is used, it will flow in the meridian system, and there are 8 places in the body that inhibit and control the flow of chakra, setting a limit on the amount of chakra in the body, called 8 gates. But if the physical constitution is strong enough, you can use chakra to force it to exceed this limit, so as to draw out a unique move that is several times or even dozens of times stronger than the original power. But while gaining power, the caster himself will be damaged. The state where all 8 gates are open is called 8 inner gates formation, and you will die after using it. But for Kaguya, who has an immortal body, the side effects of the 8 inner gates are almost non-existent. It's just that her strength is at her level. 8 gate is always open. Under 6 paths, or even those who have just entered the 6 paths level, if they can master the 8 inner gates, it is enough to multiply their strength by several times or even dozens of times, and leapfrog the level to fight. The weaker the person, the greater the restriction of the 8 gate, and the more gains will be obtained after forcibly opening it, and the side effects will be greater and more irreversible. And Kaguya values this technique because after it is activated, the physical skills of the weak can be improved in a short period of time. Those so-called ninjutsu and genjutsu are useless in front of the theories of the Otsutsuki family. Only taijutsu can pose a threat to Otsutsuki. If someone can solve the side effects of after opening 8 inner gates, such a weak human ant will have the power to shake the gods. Not to mention anything else, let's just say that if Senju Hashirama masters 8 inner gates, killing a common Otsutsuki branch house with taijutsu, or even some Otsutsuki branch house members, will not be a problem. This technique should not be allowed to spread in the world. A strong murderous look appeared in Kaguya's eyes. On the other side, inside Hokage's office, Tsunade rubbed the center of his eyebrows. His eyes were serious. Madara will meet the leader of Kong Nin. Is Kong Nin going to revive? She is no stranger to Kong Ninja at all. This is a group of ninjas who master the flying technique, that can fly in the sky with iron wings, and pay attention to weapon attacks, as well as this mobile fortress in the air. The Second Ninja World War was the one in which Tsunade established the name of Sanin and suffered from blood phobia at the end. During this period, she had also exchanged evidence with many Kong Nin. Like many small ninja forces destroyed by Konoha village, Kong Nin is very insignificant, but the attack from the sky is hard to guard against. But as long as you deal with it in advance, those ninjas who use tools to fly into the sky are just moving targets and are easy to deal with. But if this group of guys cooperates with Uchiha Madara, it will definitely cause a lot of trouble. It's best to get it resolved in advance. Shenlong? If I remember correctly, he is a famous doctor who travels around the ninja world to save lives and heal the wounded. His reputation is not inferior to mine, and he is the leader of Kong Ninja. Tsunade felt that this might be an entry point, but it inevitably aroused Yu Chen's doubts, and he needed to find a suitable reason to make a move. Samui. You can't die after opening 8 inner gates. Is this serious? By Wooden Golem. Emperor Guy almost raised the finale with one kick. If you cooperate with this ninjutsu, wouldn't you be invincible? Black Soil. Uchiha Madara, in terms of physical skills, I would call you the strongest. Tien. If there is this ninjutsu, I must find a way to help Mr. Guy learn it. Ino. I think we can all learn from it. Even if you run out of 8 inner gates that are sure to die, you can still not die. Suffering from ordinary injuries is even more pediatric, isn't it? Fragrant Phosphorus, blind student, you discovered Wadien. Terumi Mei. Liar, Tsunade-ji, as a medical ninja, do you think it is possible to interpret it from the perspective of a doctor? Tsunade. From the perspective of a doctor, it is really possible. If my 100 healings mark is developed to the extent that it can store the magic chakra as Yuchen said, it should be able to do it. Tamari. This ninja world is different from what I know. Tsunade. It is only theoretically feasible, but it is difficult to realize. A medical master like me, who innovated on the basis of the sealing technique passed down by the Uzumaki family for thousands of years, developed the 100 healings mark today. How can there be that? Tsunade didn't say the latter words, the corners of his mouth twitched. Just because she saw the subsequent update of Yu Chen's diary. Shen Nong is also a famous medical expert. His talent and family knowledge may be slightly inferior to Tsunade's, but the difference is not much, but he has worked hard enough. He only uses medical skills to save people in the ninja world, but he is actually training his own medical skills, accumulating enough experience and theoretical knowledge to improve his medical ninjutsu. I remember that he pioneered the medical forbidden technique, physical regeneration and physical activation that even Orochimaru wanted so much. Physical activation can activate your own body cells, thereby strengthening your body's capabilities. Physical regeneration, even if the body becomes torn apart, it can be reorganized and revived. 100 healings mark can also do it, but the learning threshold is too high. Even if you can't learn Shizune, you can see Madara. And Shenong also mastered a technique of body transformation, which is based on the activation and regeneration of the body, and the forbidden technique completed by adding the zero-tailed dark chakra, which can enable the caster to obtain the ultimate body and fully open the 8 inner gates. 8 gate isn't dead either. Zero tail is different from 1 tail to 9 tails. It is not a part of 10 tails, but an entity composed of dark chakra, but it can also be sealed into the body to cultivate Jinchuriki. The power of darkness is endless, and Zero Tail is destined to never die. Having entities is its weakness, but it can regenerate quickly after being eliminated. If you master the perfect Zero Tail breeding method, you may be able to mass-produce Zero Tail Jinchuriki in Konoha. If combined with 100 healings mark, immortal chakra, and 8 inner gates, can I prepare 3,000, 30,000, a certain car owner, a might guy who is not afraid of death, casts 8 inner gates to resist Tiantong's trap? Worth a try. Kagaya. Crazy, this man is crazy. He actually wants to cultivate 3,000, 30,000, or even 300,000 might guys that can cast 8 inner gates. 300,000 guy Emperor shot, Earth White is calling you an opponent? When Uchiha Madara saw it, she probably fled back to the Pure Land overnight. Don't be too outrageous, okay. But the point is, Hinata is actually thinking very seriously. 300,000. As long as 3,000, no, 300 people who can open the 8 inner gates are enough to make them come and go. What is this Yu Chen thinking? Kagaya was frightened by Yu Chen's handwriting, and felt that this man had a phobia of insufficient firepower. Unless it is Otsutsuki's high-latitude powerhouse, this planet can be a restricted area for the Otsutsuki family. No, I have to leave here as soon as possible. With this human being, no one knows what this planet will evolve into in the future. If I can't see it with my own eyes, when I go out, I may face the Emperor 3,000 guys. Kagaya felt that he had to find a way to increase the speed of breaking the seal. In the past 3 days, she has rounded up 2 rewards and magic blessings. Reward her with extremely wonderful things, such as Yu Chen TV series complete collection, Yu Chen equal proportion personal pillow. She Otsutsuki Kagaya will be rare these things. These things are only worthy of patting her ass. Kagaya moved her body and sat on the belly of Yu Chen's pillow. Next to it is a tablet that is playing a TV series, and the screen shows a pause page. Rewards are useless things for her, not as good as a 1% chakra that increases every day. It was the blessing of magic that helped her further recover her strength. Is there any way? Kagaya was lost in thought. At this time, the chat group was extremely lively. Terumi Mei. Zero Tail Technique, Konoha Forbidden Technique, the Warlock used to control Zero Tail, and 8 Inner Gates Technique, Tsunade-ji. Why are there so many weird forbidden techniques in Konoha village? Black soil. Actually, you should ask Kishimoto this question. Puff. What is this, great wisdom and foolishness? Talk nonsense about the truth. Tsunade. This is a coincidence. We have records here that the power of Zero Tail is the generation of dark power in people's hearts. When people find out, it is too late, because human beings cannot completely get rid of the darkness, so some strong people develop Zero Tail. Tail surgery. Konoha just happens to master this bed. Tsunade. 8 inner gates is also found and perfected by Might Dai himself. Tsunade. Konoha, apart from the few forbidden techniques created by my great-grandfather, there are actually not many forbidden techniques. Tsunade made a promise. At this time, the diary continued to be updated. It will be about 20 years before the Otsutsuki clan came to the ninja world, and there is still a lot of time for me to practice various ideas. The problem now is that I remember that there was a fortress in Angkor in the Kingdom of Sky, and there was a super heavy cannon powered by the power of Zero Tail. The power of one cannon was enough to level a mountain. Beast Bomb. This thing, Dazuzi and Amadara are not easy to resist. I had to find a way to get it. If you use it in conjunction with the Greer ore, you only need to drive the fortress and wander around the entire ninja world. Nuclear level is not at your fingertips. Female. Counting the huge Tensigan, Yu Chen's strange peaceful means will increase again. Huh. Amadara and Shenong chatted. Ho ho, Shen Nong is so brave, he is actually tough with Amadara. Amadara started to dance, and directly taught Shenong to be a human being with physical skills. Shen Nong opened the 8 inner gates, but only dared to use the 7th gate. It seems that the physical incarnation has not yet been perfected. Shen Nong beat Amadara. Amadara opened Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan angrily, and Gundam appeared. Very well. Shenong knelt down and surrendered very quickly, as expected of Amadara. There is nothing to see here. Wait for me to return to Konoha. Remind Tsunade to be prepared in advance. Hey, there is a strange chakra here. It is so huge that it reaches the level of cage level. Let me have a look. It turned out to be Hellahu, Jiraiya, Orochimaru and Tsunade's friends, because their aptitude was not as good as these 3 people. They were unwilling, and in order to make up for their own innate shortcomings, they secretly studied Konoha forbidden technique, combined ninjutsu ghost bud, and were discovered by the old monkey later. He ordered to hunt down and became a traitor. Looking at his situation, he has just succeeded in researching the ghost bud Luo, and the next step is to embark on the road of combining the 4 blood successors. It's a talent. Before he goes astray, find a way to fool him back to the village. Effect. Tsunade. Tsunade. Forget it, I have a showdown. I don't pretend anymore. My Konoha has a lot of forbidden technique. Cut. Tsunade had the same emotion as Kagaya-ji at this time, thinking that Yu Chen might have killed Rick himself. Whenever I want to pretend to be a wave in the group, or boast about it, I will be slapped in the face immediately. That being the case, she also decided to lie flat and let Mr. Yu Chen say what he wrote in his diary in the future. Anyway, she's not Otsutsuki Kagaya, so she doesn't need to be so hard-headed and hard-spoken. However, Bailuhu and Guila technique need to be treated with caution. Otherwise, if one is not handled well, Konoha will become a public enemy of the ninja world. Tsunade is still very impressed with Baryu, because she is the best peer of her age except Orochimaru and Jiraiya, and she is a true friend. But after Orochimaru and Jiraiya were accepted as apprentices by Sarutobi Hiruzen, and the difference in strength between the 2 sides became larger and larger, Bailuhu began to take the initiative to alienate them. When they got the name of Sanin, Bryuhu almost faded out of the lives of the 3 of them. She also remembered that Bryuhu was judged as a traitor by Sarutobi Hiruzen and sent people to hunt him down. But at that time, she was already wandering outside Konoha and it didn't matter, she couldn't control it if she wanted to. Unexpectedly, everything turned out to be because of the Guila technique. Tsunade. At Hyuga Hinata at Terumi Mei at Uchiha Makoto at Black Soil at Kushina at Karen, you have to be careful, although Bailuhu will stare at you as long as he is sensible enough, but you are still in danger. Black Soil. Why the 6 of us? Terumi Mei. I have to ask again? There are only 6 of us in this group with a limit of blood successors. Kushina. Just a joke, Shanglin and I belong to the Uzumaki family. Hey, there is really no limit for succession. Fragrant Phosphorus, but we have special characteristics. Ino. Then I still have secret techniques. By Wooden Golem. I am still a Jinchuriki. Azuki Shien. I have Yu Chen's personal swordsmanship. Did I say anything? Tien. I have money. Samui. I have brains. You are going too far. Who is the connotation? Makoto. So this ghost Budara technique, Madoka possesses for blood successor limit? Tsunade. It can be said that Kyoruo technique is an immature fusion ninjutsu. In the case of primary, it can fuse ninja or summoning beast with its own body and possess its ability. Tsunade. Theoretically, it is possible to integrate blood succession boundaries, or even all blood succession boundaries, but it is just a theory, but according to what Yu Chen wrote in his diary, Bailuhu is probably successful. Black soil. So, all ninjas who have blood inheritance limits may be targeted by him. Tsunade. That's what it means. Hinata. Understood, I will be careful. Yi Kang. Why do you Konohas have strange characters? By Wooden Golem. They were all forced away by the old monkey of 3rd Hokage. Yu Rihong. Mr. Yu Chen is right in saying that the 3rd generation may really be advanced spies sent by other hidden villages. Xianglin. For 3 years and 3 years, I have been Hokage, okay? The girls chatted in the chat group. At this time, above the moon. Zhao Yu Chen put away the diary, stood up and fell to the ground, and stretched. He wore a white cloth over his face, covering his eyes, but it didn't affect his vision. With the dark technique in the Kagura mind, the external situation is still clear to him, but some colors are lost. Zhao Yu Chen turned his head to look to one side, and smiled. Kagaya-ji, what do you need from me? That's right. Kagaya nodded and said, I want the star in your hand. After thinking about it, Kagaya thought of a way to get out of the seal early, which is to get stars. No matter how the stars are born, the essence can be said to be the natural chakra blessed by the power of 6 paths. The quality is not low, and the quantity is not low. If he could absorb it completely, he would be able to break free from the seal a long time ago. Puff ha ha ha. Do I look like an idiot? Kagaya actually asked me for a star. I would not let her leave the seal without being fully prepared. Although Kagaya, who has not recovered the 9-tailed beasts, is not that strong and cannot activate infinite Tsukuyomi, she must still have many means that I don't know, such as magic. Be careful. Seeing these messages, the group chat was silent for a while, but soon exploded. Makoto. At Otsutsuki Kagaya, what a chakra ancestor actually engaged in small tricks in private. Samui. I think for the good of all of us and mutual trust, it is better for you, Kagaya-ji, not to try to break free of the seal until Mr. Yu Chen is strong enough. Hinata. Ancestor, the stronger you leave, the greater the impact. It is better to continue to stay in the seal. Everyone is afraid of becoming white Zetsu. Kushina. If you look like this, we may really have to find a way to strengthen the seal. Kagaya-ji. Kagaya-ji. To be honest, the concubine's body is not as good as at Uchiha Makoto except the immortal body. Guyu Sharingan needs to devour the original chakra of 9-tailed beasts to open his salary. I don't know how far it is from the peak. The ability that Bain can use is also pretty much the same as at Hyuga Hinata. Uyue Shion. You can't convince us with your own words. Karama Yukumo. Unless my husband thinks you can come out, no matter what you say, I think it's better for you to stay on the moon. By Wooden Golem. I protest with Matabi with both hands and feet that you are now in contact with the seal. The girls reacted a lot to Kagaya coming out. After all, she is immortal. In order to seal her, Sage of 6 Paths and his younger brother Otsutsuki Hamura were needed to join forces. It was only after several months of the war that the opportunity was found. As Yu Chen said, no one knows how many means she has. If you can easily regain Gedo statue and 9-tailed beasts after leaving the seal, and become 10 tails Jinchuriki again, no one can control you back. Kagaya. The concubine has nothing to do with you. Kagaya can't always say what she really thinks, that's embarrassing. And these women may not believe her. She doesn't need these women's consent either. You don't want to? Kagaya asked. It's not that I don't want to. Zhao Yu Chen shook his head slightly, and said bluntly, when I am strong enough, I don't need to use stars to give you Gedo statue in the source chakra of the 9-tailed beasts. But until then, don't let your imagination run wild. Hearing this, Kagaya did not give up, and said again, I can trade with you. Deal? Zhao Yu Chen became interested. Do you think the weight in your hand can impress me? If he wants him to hand over the star, Kagaya is not enough to come up with equivalent conditions. He also needs to dispel his worries, or the conditions are so attractive that he is willing to take risks. But he has always cherished his life and believed in Gudao as king. Obviously relying on the diary, the future is doomed to stand at the apex. Why do you need to take electric insurance? He didn't think Kagaya's offer could tempt him. As a concubine, 10 Tails can also recognize you as master. Kagaya set out his own conditions. Zhao Yuchen raised his brows and asked, is there any special meaning for 10 Tails to recognize the Lord? This knowledge is somewhat chaotic, he doesn't know it. Kagaya looked at him quietly through the telescope technique, and explained. 10 Tails are plants, but they are also animals, with their own thoughts and preferences. The concubine was able to successfully attack Otsutsuki and swallow it as a sacrifice to 10 Tails, because this 10 Tails knew me before, and it intended to cooperate with me. Only those who recognize the master of 10 Tails can swallow the fruit of the divine tree without refining the alchemy, have the blood succession snare and open the Guyu Sharingan, but it is only limited to the first time. Only those who recognize the master of the 10 Tails can become the real 10 Tails Jinchuriki, otherwise, it will be like the 9-tailed beast Jinchuriki, you understand. Although you can use some of the power of the tail beasts forcibly, you can't communicate with the tail beasts to achieve the ultimate goal. Strong state. The birth of Yuya and Yu-kun is the blessing of all races after combining the power of 10 Tails, and I ruled this continent, and 10 Tails cultivates the fruit of the sacred tree and uses the natural chakra of this world, so when they are enemies with concubines, they can limit only the strength of the concubine can make 10 Tails not help each other, and the group will finally seal the concubine. But even so, Yuya couldn't make the 10 Tails recognize the master, so soon after becoming the 10 Tails Jinchuriki, the deadline came, and he had to release the 10 Tails, and separated chakra from the 10 Tails, turning them into 9-tailed beasts. If 10 Tails recognizes you as master, these problems will no longer exist for you, and 10 Tails will not and cannot harm you. As for all, the concubine said, after 10 Tails recognizes you as the master, you can naturally confirm the authenticity. As long as you promise to give the star to the concubine will make 10 Tails recognize you as master. Kagaya looked into Zhao Yuchen's eyes quietly, looking extremely serious. Zhao Yuchen couldn't help restraining his smile, and began to think seriously. What Kagaya said, she believed it should be the truth. Kaguya's own pride, not allowing her to lie, is a bit. Mainly because he can analyze it himself. It is a fact that Otsutsuki Yuya became 10 Tails Jinchuriki but still died, and Otsutsuki Ichishiki has an unruly 10 Tails in his hands to prove it. From this point of view, if 10 Tails can be recognized as the master, there will be many benefits, and it is true that there is no need to be afraid of Kagaya regaining his strength. Kagaya, you actually used this to test veteran cadres. It made me very tempted to agree. What should I do? I believe in Go Dao. Damn, did Kagaya Haim sell herself? Makoto. At Otsutsuki Kagaya. Okay, I didn't expect the majestic Azuki goddess to be such a person. Makoto has a feeling that his home is about to be robbed. This feeling does not exist for other women, because that is called sharing. But for Otsutsuki Kagaya, she just has an inexplicable displeasure. Hinata. I didn't expect my ancestors to be such ancestors. Samui. As expected of Kagaya-ji, she can see through Yuchen-kun's weakness at once. Yuhihong. Weakness? Beauty trap? Kagaya-ji is really amazing. Maoyue Xian. I am willing to let go. The dignified ancestor of chakra is willing to do such a thing. Terumi Mei. It can be seen from this that Mr. Yuchen is really a rare good man, who every woman wants to have. Sam Yi. By wooden golem, can you still bear it? Kagaya-ji is on it. By wooden golem. Do you want to control? I won't. Fragrant phosphorus. As expected of Yuchen big brother, even Kagaya-ji can't resist the charm. Ju Zuna. Hey, sisters, suddenly I'm not afraid of Kagaya-ji coming out, she is going to be our sister. Makoto. I suddenly feel very happy at Kagaya. Remember to call me sister in the future. Tsunade. Why are you talking about size? I think it depends on age, right? At present, Yuchen already has 6 women, Kukina, Makoto, Karama Yukumo, Mitarashi Anko, Yuhihong and Azuki Yuyan. Could it be that she is dignified Tsunade-ji, called the 6 younger sisters? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Even age may be cheaper. Kagaya. Terumi Mei. I can't agree more. For the first time, Terumi Mei discovered that being older is an advantage. I remember that in the court novels I read, the elder sister always has the advantage. Although they are ninjas and have great power in themselves, they are not common women. But when everyone is the same, a higher status must have an advantage, right? Well, she, Terumi Mei, also has a bit of fighting talent. Azuki Xian. I don't agree. Anko. Yes, I am the elder sister. Yu Rihong. I agree. Azuki Shion. Well, I also agree. Anko. The corners of Makoto and Kukina's mouths twitched suddenly. You don't even look at your rank, isn't that a disservice? Xianglin. Well, how can you go so far? Ino. That's right, aren't we talking about Kagaya-ji now? Hinata. Group chat is such a strange magic. Makoto, at Otsutsuki Kagaya, so you fell. Kagaya. Oh, contemptuous, what a bunch of stupid women to feel like they are. If she had any thoughts in this regard, it must be to make Yu Chen surrender at her feet, or under her skirt. The strong can dominate everything, including the relationship between men and women. Now she just agrees with the danger brought by Yu Chen, wants to make a deal with him, and avoid some risks, that's all. Otsutsuki Kagaya starts the live broadcast, click. When all the girls were puzzled by Kaguya's attitude, a reminder suddenly appeared on the copy of the diary. It's too lazy to explain to us, just let us watch the scene. Makoto raised his eyebrows. It's Kagaya-ji, isn't it? Kukina grinned and clicked into the live broadcast room. I haven't seen Mr. Yu Chen for several days, I miss you very much. Liv. I can see Yu Chen big brother, in Yu Chen's mansion. Xianglin's eyes lit up, she immediately stopped watering the flowers, and entered the live broadcast room with her hands in her hands. Hinata. Ino. Azuki Shion and Yu Hihong spoke at the same time while they were jointly carrying out a task of clearing the river. Hinata and Ino understood and immediately returned to the shore. Then the four women formed a group and took out a copy of the diary to watch the live broadcast. I haven't seen you for 3 days, it's like several autumns. Shikamaru. How troublesome, second rate. Man, it's a very familiar scene, can we be treated to delicious food again tonight? Inuzuka Tooth. Damn it, when can a man stand up? No, it seems that teacher Yu Chen is very powerful and can make these women jealous. How is he different from Mr. Yu Chen? Appearance, height, intelligence, strength, personality, everything is bad. Aburame Shino's voice suddenly sounded behind everyone. Baga, Shino, why are you so elusive? I've been here all the time, otherwise, do you think Akamaru picked up this pile of garbage for you? Is not it? Wait, did you cultivate a mind-reading bug? Otherwise how would you know what I'm thinking? Inuzuka Fang showed a horrified expression. Shino rolled his eyes hidden under the sunglasses. There are no such bugs, you said it yourself. What, did I speak my mind? That's right. Shikamaru's voice came from beside him. Ah. Inuzuka Ya experienced the feeling of death. Shikamaru. Sure enough, it's so troublesome. Inside the post house, Terumi Mei and Samuel exchanged glances and put down the cards in their hands. Seeing this, Wooden Golem followed suit, and said to the big-breasted sister on the other side, Ji Tsunade, it's important to watch the live broadcast. Who will believe it? The dignified 5th Hokage, who is not in Hokage's office to deal with official business during the day, ran to this post house to play cards with the 3 of them. In order to avoid her, Konan even took the initiative to take the lawless guys from Akatsuki to wander around Konoha. Speaking of which, Red Sand Scorpion has been getting together with 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama recently, like a year-end friend. Tamari even took a photo and said that she would send it back to Grandma Chio for a look. She snatched all the bamboo shoots from Yamanaka after Konoha. As expected of a woman who is going to be the next rich woman in the ninja world, she is because of chi. Live broadcast is important, live broadcast is important. Tsunade put down the cards without further ado. She didn't have to come to Terumi Mei and the others to play cards. But her gambling luck, which Yu Chen calls the weapon of causality, makes her lose if she gambles elsewhere, and she can only avoid it by finding women who also have a copy of the diary. As for those minors, she felt that it was not good for them to gamble, and Azuki Shion and Yu Hihong had jobs again. After some screening, I found that Terumi Mei, who came to Konoha as a guest and messenger, had the most time and age. Can't this develop into a gambler? Of course, she knows what really matters. Soon, all the women who had a copy of the diary and joined the group chat joined the live broadcast room. In the picture, there is a strange space. Kagaya Ji Ling stands in the void, her silver hair hangs down behind her, touching the soles of her feet. Under a certain light source, the white skin seems to be glowing, the dazzling physical health. The pure white eyes are very beautiful, and the degree of purity is the level that even Hinata admires. With strange ears on its head, it is not a common human at first glance. There is a gap on the forehead above the eyebrows, and the pure white eyebrows seem to be integrated with the skin. The flaming red lips are the only place that contrasts with purity, but they are not dusty, and they are full of the queen's pure desire. A robe that covers the feet covers all the skin except the neck, and is extremely conservative. He had seen it once, but Zhang still admired it from the bottom of his heart. This kind of stunning beauty, even if they are women, I still feel pity for them. That kind of lofty and aloof temperament makes people unable to arouse the evil thoughts of blasphemy. I'm afraid that ordinary men would feel ashamed in front of him. After getting along with Yu Chen for a long time, their vision has improved, and now they can treat him calmly. However, they still admit from the bottom of their hearts that Kaguya's appearance and temperament are transcendent, which is not comparable to common people. But the next moment, they were attracted by a mirror made of ice in front of Kaguya. To be precise, it is the picture presented in the mirror. Zhao Yu Chen is also standing in the void. Behind his feet there is a bright and huge orb in some kind of utensil. It doesn't look like eyes, but they guess it should be a huge tensigan. But the huge tensigan couldn't stop them from looking at it. They were all looking at this time. They were wearing a black base layer and a gold silk-trimmed gown that they had never seen before. The kind of nobleness that seems to be born with them can be felt through two screens. Admiration, obsession, but feel strange. They had never seen Yu Chen with such a face. It seems that what they saw before was just an ordinary incarnation. Fragrant phosphorus, good X, I really want to hold Yu Chen big brother and take a deep breath. Hinata. Shanglin, your speech Ino. Yu Chen big brother poke me, thinking that this is my man. In the future, I am happy to clean up the entire river 10 times. Tsunade. It's not impossible, the mission rewards will be used as gambling money for me. Female. Tsunade, you have no heart. Terumi Mei. I didn't expect that with Yu Chen's attitude, you would still think of gambling. Tsunade. Yu Chen's tolerance. What kind of tolerance? Tsunade shifted perspective blankly. She saw that there seemed to be a golden mountain at the foot of Kaguya, and she was thinking about how much it was worth. So when seeing Ino, the group will immediately think about the remuneration. Yu Chen what? She doesn't know. Tsunade. This man is Yu Chen. Why so, out of dust? Yo. Tsunade G's Doug Good learned to tweet. Kaguya. Yu Chen's constitution is only one step away from being superior. The eyes are about to evolve into tensigan. Any evolution is completed, which is the transformation of the essence of life. The lifespan will become different, and you will naturally feel different when you look at it. Kaguya. He is getting closer and closer to the level of a concubine. This is the real reason why Kaguya Ji is willing to make a deal with Yu Chen. Able to awaken tensigan, Yu Chen has surpassed half of the Otsutsuki tribe. Enough for her to take a high look at Kaguya. After careful consideration, I feel that your request is not unacceptable. After considering it in his heart for a long time, Yu Chen smiled slightly and said, but I have one more request. Say. Kaguya spat out a word. You call me husband, Yu Chen said seriously. This is not taking advantage, but a naked temptation. Doesn't work for others, but works for Kaguya. Husband. A look of disdain appeared on Kaguya's face, and he said lightly, Yu Chen, I don't care about this at this level. Calling your husband and calling you by your name are both codenames, which are boring and can't make the concubine feel the slightest bit of thought. You have to listen, just love yourself. Hearing this, Yu Chen frowned. He could hear the seriousness in Kaguya's tone. This also made her bark, making her look very low-level. Originally, he didn't want to take advantage of it. After pondering for a moment, he smiled and said, that's called dad. Kaguya. What? A blush appeared on Otsutsuki Kaguya's pale cheeks, and then the whole face began to flush, spreading to the neck and ears. If it weren't for the conservative clothing to cover her up, she should be able to see that her whole body has turned red. Filthy. How dare you insult my concubine like this? Let's wait for this concubine, and when this concubine leaves the seal, I must look good. Kaguya roared out of composure, and then waved her hand to shatter the ice mirror in front of Yu Chen and herself, interrupting the two-way telescope technique that evolved in her hands. This. Seeing the shattered and dissipated ice crystals, Yu Chen coughed lightly, suddenly feeling a little embarrassed. He really didn't expect that Kaguya Ji would react so strongly to his joking request. From this point of view, the title of father is unusual in Kaguya's heart, and it is a taboo that is not easy to touch. I didn't do it on purpose, I just wanted to test that you didn't hide anything. Yu Chen pouted. On the other side, the girls who were eating live through the diary were startled. They also did not expect that Kaguya would have such a humane reaction. Samui. Calmly analyze the situation, father is very important to Kaguya Ji. Hinata. So the Yu-Chen big brother joke has been played? By Wooden Golem. Maybe it's not a joke, but Yu-Chen's evil habit. Black soil. I don't understand, is there anything special about being called dad? Tamari. Probably, to pursue the kind of pleasure that all taboos are virtuous? Pommel Yukumo. Huh, I can't stand it. Ino. Ah, you still can't stand brother Yu-Chen? Yukumo. My husband isn't like this, he is very domineering, even on the bed. Makoto. I can testify. Ju Zuna. I have been to my husband's spiritual space, and I know his true taste, sisters can rest assured. Azuki Shion. So Yu-Chen provoked Kagaya, and it was purely hilarious, but I didn't expect Kagaya-ji to react so much. Makoto. In the future, when we tease her, can we use to talk about her father? Kagaya. Shut up. The concubine is also in the group, how dare you show offense? Makoto. Who told you to unilaterally hang up my man's video? Anko. Sister is mighty, let's cheer. Terumi Mei. I never thought of this reason. Kagaya. She is so blasphemy, my concubine has this reaction, why not? Yukumo. It's okay for other people, but not for my husband, you apologize. All the girls agreed one after another. Teru Yoruichi was stunned, then distraught. How dare these lowly humans team up to bully her? Kagaya. The concubine is too lazy to pay attention to you and other ants. With a cold snort in his heart, Kagaya flicked his sleeves lightly, creating 2 ice mirrors again. Don't get me wrong, she doesn't want to apologize, she just wants to continue the transaction. Otherwise, is she showing these women the live broadcast to lose face? The star must be taken down, let these women know that she will be out of the seal soon, and let them cast a trap. She, the primordial chakra, is very witty. I want to be a star, if you feel that the conditions are not enough, you can add more. Kagaya said with a cold face. Yu-Chen could see the anger in her eyes that had not completely calmed down. It made him feel very embarrassed. As a contemporary young man who cherishes beauty, how can he bully an old woman who has been in prison for thousands of years? Well, give her a chance and think about it. Yes, I can trade the star to you. Yu-Chen took out the star and weighed it in his hand. In the past, Kagaya cast a strong god-tier spell at will, and the chakra consumed could catch up with this star, so she didn't take it seriously at all. But now, this is her tool for commutation. What conditions? Don't worry. Don't you know that the more anxious you are, the more beneficial the negotiation is to me, and the more likely I am to sit on the ground and raise the price? If you tell me this truth, isn't it possible for me to pay less for you? Practice what you have learned. Good, good. Zhao Yu-Chen smiled. How can I not know such a simple truth? Kagaya said in a light tone, the value of a star to a concubine lies there. And you don't know the weight that the concubine holds. Maybe to you, you think you're going to get a sky-high price, but in my concubine's eyes, it's nothing more than that. The secret of 10 tails, the secret of the starry sky universe, the secret of the Otsutsuki clan, the god song Lien. Her wealth is beyond the imagination of common people. In her opinion, the ability of this planet to breathe the fruit of the god tree is the only value. Everything else, nothing more. Tamari. Look at this tone, this is the real top by Fume. Black soil. It's sour. The granddaughter of 3rd Tsuchikage is a fart, she was born in the Otsutsuki family, and she was born to win at the starting line. Tsunade. That is to win at the starting line. That is the end point where the starting point surpasses 99% of the people. Tien, envious. Terumi Mei. Envy. All the girls uttered sour words. Hinata. I am not envious. Fragrant phosphorus. Hinata-chan, how did you destroy the formation? Hinata. Well, I just feel that, compared to the vast majority of people in the ninja world, I am also standing at the end of their life when I was born. And I also got a copy of the diary. Female. Although there is an element of talking deliberately, why suddenly there is a feeling of irritability. For example, Terumi Mei, thinking of her double blood succession limit and being able to succeed 5th Mizukage at any time, suddenly felt very greedy. For example, Kurenai Yuhi and Yuzuki Yuyan, although they are both from the small ninja clan, they both have family education, and they became Jonin at a young age, which can be called a master in the ninja world. Tamari, Kuroto and Tsunade, who started this topic at the beginning, were even more ashamed and angry. As the direct descendants of Ying, they are placed in this group, let alone in the ninja world, and they have obvious advantages compared to other girls. It seems that they are greedy and play a very bad role in leading the way. Tsunade. Cough, Hinata-chan, we are just joking. Tamari. How can I not be satisfied when I own the Greer ore soon? Black soil. I am actually very satisfied with my identity. Yuhihong. Hinata, don't think too much, everyone is just kidding. Xianglin. After meeting Yu Chen big brother, I feel that I am the luckiest person in the world, you can do whatever you want. Female. There is a strange guy mixed in here. Hinata. You don't need to explain to me, actually I understand, I just don't want to be underestimated by the old ancestors, thinking that our inferior human beings are greedy. Hinata's words were so angry that no one could fault her. But the girls who saw this sentence only felt a twinge of pain in their hearts. With this statement, the height rises again. They are no longer a matter of personal quality, but are embarrassing to all human beings. Tsunade. I was wrong, I was really wrong. Black soil. Although Otsutsuki is more greedy, I don't want to cause human beings to be looked down upon. Kagaya. Tamari. Yes, Otsutsuki is still arrogant. Anyway, we are still humble, but I still want to apologize for what I just said. Kagaya. Makoto. Otsutsuki is a cancer of the universe. What qualifications do you have to say about humans? But this is not the reason why we shame humans. Even in the group, we must be cautious in our words and deeds. After all, there are aliens in the group. Asterisk. If you repent, you repent. Why all of you have to bring an attack on Otsutsuki? You're all right, but I still feel bad, okay? Immediately, Kagaya became depressed by these stupid human women. And in Yuhihong's figure, a smile flickered on the corner of Hinata's mouth. It's here this time. In the future, if anyone still takes the lead in making fun of me, I won't give up easily. At this moment, Hinata seemed to have a little devil barking his teeth and claws behind him. Unfortunately, no one found out. Snapped. On the moon, inside the temple, Yu Chen stood in the air and suddenly extended his applause. Okay, good one. I thought it would cost sky-high prices, but in your eyes, it may be nothing more than that. The people of the Otsutsuki clan are indeed rich and powerful, even Kagaya-ji is no exception. Since that's the case, if there are fewer things you want, it will appear that I look down on you, and look down on you Otsutsuki. Zhao Yu Chen withdrew his hand, and said lightly, then I don't want it, you can give it to me. If I'm satisfied, we'll trade. If I'm not satisfied, even if you continue to increase your position, this transaction will be void. So, you'd better open at the highest price you can afford psychologically. Remember, I only give you one chance. As he spoke, Yu Chen raised a finger and smiled playfully. Kaguya's expression suddenly became astonished. She suddenly realized that her arrogance was completely shooting herself in the foot. If she offers a low price, she may miss the opportunity to go out early. When she went out, she really had no ill intentions towards Yu Chen and Ninja World, she actually went for Otsutsuki. Therefore, for her, Xing is not only an opportunity to quickly recover her strength and leave the seal, but also an opportunity for her to meet Yishi quickly and do something. And if the asking price is too high, she will feel distressed. But this result was caused by her hilarious mouth. After a long silence, Kagaya held out a finger. I can teach you a magic spell. 1. Yu Chen raised his eyebrows, motioning for Kagaya to think clearly before speaking. This is not an ordinary divine art, it is an inherited divine art. Kagaya said coldly. General magic? Inherited magic? Zhao Yu Chen frowned. This is the first time he has heard that there is a distinction between divine arts. Seeing this, Kagaya took the initiative to explain. General magic, such as attribute magic, can release a stormy wind style by swinging one's sleeves, and can emit a lightning-like lightning style by roaring, as well as auxiliary magic, such as clairvoyance, samadhi true fire, and killing intent reflex. All of these can be mastered through acquired learning, just like most ninjutsu in the current ninja world. Inheriting magic is like that of Viguna and Dahishin. You need to go to the body of Otsutsuki Shiba to study and understand it. Not to mention talent, you need a certain amount of luck to comprehend it. Zhao Yu Chen nodded suddenly. In short, comparing general divine arts to ninjutsu, the inheritance of divine arts is ninja secret arts, and it is also a rare ninja secret arts with a sense of blood succession limit. As long as you want to learn ninjutsu, there is still a way. It is more difficult and risky to learn ninja secret arts. The ninja secret art with a sense of blood succession limit, sometimes you can learn it, but you can't learn it. Can you pass on the magic to me? Zhao Yu Chen asked unexpectedly. Didn't it mean to go to the body to comprehend the sentence left by Otsutsuki Shibahu? There is another way to obtain the inherited magic, which can only be used among the Otsutsuki people. It is to actively transfer the seeds of the magic before they understand how to use this inherited magic. Kagaya said seriously. Although you are not my clan, but you have our constitution, as long as I give you the seeds, you can have this kind of inherited magic. Hearing this, Yu Chen became completely interested. So, you have an inherited divine technique that you haven't used yet. What is this inherited divine technique called? Open your eyes. Zhao Yu Chen, Erlang God. Opening the eyes of the sky, isn't that the operation of Erlang Xiansheng Junjun? Zhao Yu Chen was taken aback for a moment, followed by a sudden realization, and then a deep sense of disgust. The opening of the eyes in the divine art is completely understandable and even conceivable. During the period of Hokage Ninja Shippuden, the tailed beast Four Tails was a monkey whose name was Sun Wukong, and my big monkey brother pirated it. The two brothers Jinjiao and Yinjiao, as well as the 7-star sword, banana fan, amber bottle, etc., are also pirated goods from the old gentleman. 20 years later, Otsutsuki Yishi has a clairvoyant named Ada who must have clairvoyant ears, plus Kagaya told me that she knows Samadhi True Fire, and Otsutsuki's alchemy ability, Otsutsuki Yuya and Hamura's soul out of body out of the means, like a duosh, good guy, it's all pirated. Obviously, this is Kishimoto plagiarizing from the Little Days, tribute, it's a tribute to Journey to the West. Then what abilities will appear in the future, such as 3 heads and 6 arms, 5 thunders and rectification, are completely understandable. Even the setting of Otsutsuki's 3 eyes is plagiarizing me, Erlang Xiansheng Junjun, a pirated version of a pirated version, I'm dying of laughter. Otsutsuki Kagaya. Are you kidding? She is a powerful Otsutsuki clan, but a Fang universe overlord, and everything she owns is actually a pirated version of those people in a certain book. Impossible, absolutely impossible, and she would never believe it. Everything must be a coincidence. Makoto. I really don't want to complain about this Kishimoto, his imagination is so bad. Do I have to copy elements from the mythology of Mr. Yu Chen's hometown? Kyuko Nai. According to Yu Chen, in theory, there is our world first, and then the heavens reflect it. When parallel worlds intersect, some information is original after being captured by Kishimoto. Karama Yukumo. As a manga artist, I think it may be his imagination that caused this world to appear. Samui. The question of which came first, the chicken or the egg, cannot be answered until it reaches that level. We don't need to dye too many brain cells for this matter. Why don't we talk about Otsutsuki first? By Wooden Golem. Pirate copycats, ha ha ha, die of laughter. Kagaya. Slander, this is Yu Chen's slander, he is jealous of me Otsutsuki. Even if they violate the family rules, it can even be said that they have betrayed Otsutsuki. But that is because Kagaya is not reconciled to the fate of the branch house, and wants to change all this, not dissatisfied with the family. As Otsutsuki, she is very proud, but also has the arrogance that comes from her bones. But now, Yu Chen says that her arrogance is nothing but fake. How can this be tolerated? Tsunade. Facts are better than bare arguments. With pictures. Samui. When it comes to the bear debate, I suddenly found that the bears raised by Kagaya are not big. Anko. I won. Yi Kang. I really have to accept your crooked skills. Hinata. If you are talking about jealousy, may I ask the ancestors, do the Otsutsuki clan have Shengfeng ears, 3 heads and 6 arms, and 5 lightning methods? Kagaya. Conan. The answer is obvious, limited. Kagaya. Coincidence, everything is a coincidence. In any case, Kagaya will never admit that their Otsutsuki clan is a bootleg. Speaking of which, there are many 3-eyed mythical bosses on the head, but the first one that comes to mind is Erlang Xiansheng Junjun. Are all members of the Otsutsuki family playing Erlang God? The so-called eyes of the sky are open, looking at the 10 directions, like the palm of your hand. Bliss, the bullfighting palace, are all here now. Chong Xianhua, Tiangongjing, Biani. Only in the Ming dynasty, I saw that the scenery is boundless. Let me see now, what is the level of the pirated sky-opening eye, and how hot it is? A look of anticipation appeared in Zhao Yu Chen's eyes. But one of Otsutsuki Kaguya's hearts is trembling, and it's a little numb. Listen to what you said about the eyes of the sky, I'm afraid the entire Otsutsuki clan can't afford it. Karama Yukumo. Sisters, my sister has never been to school, can you translate for me what Yu Chen-kun's last words mean? Female. Yes, you have never been to school, but you are the young patriarch of the Karama clan, and you are still awakened. You ask for advice. On purpose. Tamari. The first generation Jinchuriki of One Tail, the land of winds, as called Fenfu. He is an ascetic who practiced in a temple in the land of winds. Fang refers to heaven, earth, east, west, south, north, life gate and death position, past and future. Girls of Konoha. And there are really honest women who explain Kurama Yukumo's doubts. Wait. What does Shifang mean? Shizun. If I understand correctly, Shifang can refer to infinite space and infinite time, right? The girls trembled inwardly and looked down at their palms tacitly. Look at the 10 directions like the palm of your hand. It means that when the eyes of the sky are opened, you can see any position in the universe, and you can know everything about the past and the future, as easily as they look down at their palms. Don't go too far. Shang Lin. Then this bliss, the bullfighting palace is in the present. What does it mean? Tamari. I mean bliss. Fenfu said bliss is the pure land, but I don't understand the bullfighting palace. It should refer to the scene in front of you. Sam Yi. Let's make a bold guess. The bliss opening is the location and opening time of the pure land and even the underworld. The bullring palace should also be a relative location, and there is nothing to hide in front of Wei. Makoto. Absurd. When I returned from the pure land to the present world, I was lucky enough to see a corner of the pure land, and I couldn't see the edge at all. But it was just an unknown piece of the underworld, and the sky eye. Uyue Shian. I can't understand the last 2 sentences, but according to our normal speaking habits, the more important and powerful things are put later, so. The power of the sky eye is completely beyond their imagination. Makoto. At Otsutsuki Kagaya, is it too late for me to admit my mistake? Kagaya. Makoto. The eyes of the sky are so strong, you Otsutsuki clan don't just see what's happening here, come here soon, I surrender. Kagaya. Puff. The girls laughed lightly, and their serious hearts relaxed. Makoto is really bad, too bad. In the past, he mocked Kagaya for still playing a straight ball, but now it has turned into a first drop and then a rise, and the damage is full. Looking at Kaguya's current expression, he was obviously shocked by the contents of the diary. Otherwise, she would have already opened her mouth to explain what the divine art of opening the eyes of the sky is all about. Seeing Kagayaji's silence, Yu Chen felt a little bit embarrassed. Does this 1,000-year-old girl also have a diary? Yes, it sure is. This woman appeared so early and seemed to be very familiar with him, so she must have learned from the diary. That's it. Mark. Yu Chen operates in the diary. This time, even if it fails, it is worth trying. Marking succeeded. Extraction can be enabled. 2 pieces of information were revealed in the diary. Yu Chen directly chooses to extract. After extraction, the 1-month cooling time will start counting. Anyway, after extracting things, you can temporarily store the diary, and you are not afraid of something that will change your physical fitness. Successful extraction. Imperial Palace of Heaven, weaving space freely, the calendar of supernatural powers after the ancestor opened his eyes. A lot of information came to Zhao Yuchen's mind. Supernatural powers are supernatural powers, even if there is no reincarnation Sharingan, he can still use them directly now, but it consumes a huge amount of chakra. And the space he can enter is limited, only Kaguya's initial ball space and lava, ice and snow, supergravity, sand, acid and other spaces cannot be fabricated at will by his own strength. But when Tensigan completes the awakening, Tensigan will be able to use heaven's armor. Not only will the consumption of chakra be reduced, but it will also have the power to fabricate the space around the original ball space at will. I have a couple space with Kagaya-ji. A smile flickered on the corner of Zhao Yuchen's mouth. Now the strength is still not enough, but when Tensigan is fully awakened, he must go to the first ball space to have a long talk with Kagaya. Not Kagaya Haim from Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he's not saying he can win with the Tensigan, but he sure isn't afraid. How? Are you willing to trade? Just when Yu Chen was dreaming, Kaguya's voice sounded in his ear. Of course. Yu Chen nodded immediately, and then asked, how do you give me the seed of inheriting the magic? You go to the passage to the moon leading to the ninja world, where there is a weak spot in the seal, which can be traded between you and me. Kagaya said immediately. Finally, she can get the star. Is there a weak spot in the seal? Yu Chen frowned slightly, and then said, I wonder if I can take a look at the seed of the magic inheritance you mentioned? I'm so cautious, you shouldn't feel offended? Naturally. Kagaya slightly raised his delicate chin, and said proudly, I am powerful, so it is normal for you to be cautious. As she spoke, she raised her right hand, which was white and slender. The nails are very long and sharp. Swish. A purple light gradually emerged, and finally condensed into a purple light ball. Can you give it to me first, let me have a look? Zhao Chen asked. You think the concubine is stupid? Kaguya snorted coldly. Zhao Yuchen suddenly showed an angry expression. Can there be a little more trust between people? Forget it. You make me very angry, I don't want to see you now. You put this seed closer to the mirror, and then back away from me. After observing, I will trade with you. Hearing this, Kaguya frowned slightly. You are so cowardly. That's what she said, but she did as Yuchen said, pushed the seed to the ice mirror, then floated back 10 meters by herself, and asked, is it far enough? She didn't think Yuchen could have any calculations. Not to mention that Yuchen has not fully awakened Tensigen yet. Even if he has awakened, he still cannot break the seal shot by Otsutsuki Yuya and Hamura. Otherwise, when Uchiha Madara turns on Rinnegan, Black Zetsu will be done, without so much conspiracy behind. Enough. Zhao Yuchen showed a smile. He walked in front of Bing Jing and suddenly stretched out his hand. The sound of the ice mirror shattering did not appear, but Yuchen's hand disappeared, protruding from the ice mirror in the space of Kaguya Ji Shichu on the other side, grabbing the seed of inheriting the magic. Seeing this scene, Cockroach Yi was dumbfounded. How could Yuchen's hand reach into her starting ball space? How is it possible? Not good. Although there are countless questions in his mind, Kaguya Heim reacted quickly and used Wangchen Bilyangsaka immediately. Appearing from the gate of Hades in less than an instant. Wangchen Hirasaka is the ultimate spacetime ninjutsu. The caster can open a black portal out of thin air by relying on the special ability activated by his blood successor Snare, and shuttle freely in different spaces. Kaguya's strength has not recovered much now, and he can't rely on it to shuttle in various spaces, but it is not difficult to open a space portal in the first ball space. Shua. The black portal opened next to the ice mirror, and Kaguya's hand reached out from it, grabbing back the seeds of the divine art's inheritance. But obviously, she was still one step too late and grabbed an empty hand. You cheated on my concubine. Kaguya came to Bing Jing and glared at Yuchen. She's never been this angry, not even when she was betrayed by Otsutsuki Yuya and Hamura. Because she knew that Yuya and Hamura were being fooled for their betrayal, and she was too lazy to explain because of her arrogance. But Yuchen's blatant deception, even bullying her, made her very happy. But reason prevented her from venting her anger immediately. I got this inheritance divine magic seed by relying on my strength, how can I lie? Yuchen weighed the purple sphere in his hand. This sphere has a strange attraction to him, as long as it is absorbed, it can become as a part of his body, bringing him some kind of benefits. But out of caution, he did not rush to do so, but observed Kaguya's performance. It's a good deal, you hand over the star to my concubine. Kaguya suppressed his anger and said. Yes. Zhao Yuchen nodded. This made Kaguya a little astonished, and then the anger began to dissipate. She felt that she could guess what Yuchen was thinking, and she must be worried about the traps in the transaction on the other side of the channel, so she used her own means. Bring it. Kaguya held out a hand and opened his eyes at the same time. Obviously, she wanted to see how Chu Yuchen put his hand into her starting ball space. But her intentions were so obvious that Yuchen couldn't help laughing. You want to know how I put my hand into the starting ball space? Yes. Kaguya nodded frankly, without hiding it. In fact, it's not just her, the girls who watched all this through the live broadcast are also very curious. They are not as difficult as Kaguya to understand Chu Yuchen, but it does not prevent them from feeling that they are very skilled. If this is used to steal things, or to set up traps, isn't it accurate to use one? The Imperial Center of Heaven. I know this supernatural power. Yuchen simply told the truth directly. After discovering that the ability he had obtained in advance from Otsutsuki Kaguya was Tianji Yuzhong, he decisively chose to receive it. Anyway, it will not affect his constitution, nor will it affect the evolution process of Tensigen. After mastering the heavenly control, he immediately sensed a subtle connection between himself and a space, and he can consume different amounts of chakra to transform the world he is in and the people around him. Objects and even parts of the body are transferred to other spaces. At the same time, he also perceives that he does not consume much chakra when entering the 5 spaces of lava, ice and snow, supergravity, sand, and acid. However, if he wants to enter the first ball space, he will consume a lot of chakra, and even encounter barrier failure. The barrier should be the seal that Otsutsuki Yuya and Hamura blessed outside the first ball space, that is. Kaguya is now awake, trying to recover his strength and erase the seal, so that he has the opportunity to consume a large amount of chakra to enter the first ball space, otherwise he will only perceive the barrier. Because of this discovery, he had a whim and wanted to snatch the seeds of divine art's inheritance. Kaguya must use chakra to cast the two-way telescope technique, which means that she can open a small space gap on the seal and use chakra seep out. Then follow this chakra reverse invasion. Can you use a small amount of chakra to enter the initial ball space, and still appear directly in front of the ice mirror? There is no loss if you try it, and no one will know if you fail. At worst, you can trade normally again. So he directly played the show, and fooled Yoruichi Tong, and the result was very smooth. Without consuming much chakra, he got the seed of the inherited magic, and the star has not been given to Kaguya-ji. The Emperor of Heaven, how can? Kaguya's first reaction was disbelief. Unlike Wangchen Bilyangsaka, who can possess the ability of most Otsutsuki people as long as there is a blood follower's snare, Tianji Yuzhong is the exclusive supernatural power he possesses after he swallows the fruit of the sacred tree to open the reincarnation Sharingan. Yu Chen can only have this ability unless he becomes 10 Tails Jinchuriki and is recognized as the master of 10 Tails. But halfway through the conversation, she thought that Yu Chen had a mysterious diary and could get rewards every day. So, is it his reward to be the king of the sky one day? If this is the case, everything can be explained, and the power of the diary can be positively viewed from the side. So, maybe you can help the concubine get out? Kaguya-ji's eyes lit up. Yu Chen can take the seed from the first ball space, so naturally she can take her, isn't it? It is theoretically possible, but not for the time being. Zhao Yu Chen broke Kaguya's illusion with one sentence. Why? Because I'm not strong enough now. Zhao Yu Chen said truthfully. I know your character, arrogant and lustful. If you want you to be obedient, the only way is to be stronger than you, and it may not even work. So until I'm confident enough to convince you, I'm not going to let you out of space. Kaguya. Yu Chen's approval made her very useful. She hated not letting her leave the ball space. But she could hear the seriousness in Yu Chen's words, so she didn't intend to spend more time talking. According to the agreement, the star will be given to the concubine. Kaguya hated the star again. Zhao Yu Chen looked down at the star in his hand, and with a thought, he cast the heavenly controlling center, hitting the star and putting it into a space the size of a common freezer that was attached to the original ball space and isolated by the power of 6 paths planetary devastation. This is the space he created, not single, but enough for storage. What do you mean? Kaguya rolled her eyes. Star, I can give it to you, but not now. Zhao Yu Chen clapped his hands. Not now? When was that? Wait for my Tensigan to awaken successfully. Wouldn't it be 3 months? How do you know? Zhao Yu Chen showed a puzzled expression. Suddenly, Kaguya's heart trembled. The expressions of Tsunade, Hinata and other women also changed. Kaguya-ji is so silly and sweet, isn't she trying to expose her? The concubine knows. What's so strange? Kaguya said with a blank face, with a tone of disdain. In Yu Chen's words, this fits her personality very well. The girls breathed a sigh of relief. Terumi Mei. This acting is okay. Makoto. Facial paralysis is fine. What kind of acting skills do you need? Puff. The girls laughed out loud. The corners of Kaguya's eyes twitched slightly, and he said to Yu Chen, why delay? Of course it's because I'm afraid of you, the goddess of Uyue. Zhao Yu Chen spread his arms and sighed, I'll give you the star, but I don't know how far your strength can be restored. In case you devour the star, you can leave the starting ball space in a few days, it may cause me trouble. So before I awaken Tensigan, I won't consider handing over the star to you. But don't worry, I keep my word. This star already belongs to you, and I won't use it again. You should be able to feel the stars, right? Hearing this, he nodded overnight. She can indeed feel that the star exists in a certain space outside the original ball space, but she cannot touch it because of the existence of the seal barrier. From this point of view, Yu Chen did not deceive her. Despite the delay in delivery, she was upset. But she can only blame herself for not thinking that this despicable man can play with words. However, as long as she can get the star after 3 months, it will have the same effect on helping her, and it is acceptable. Don't break your promise when the time comes, otherwise. You'd better not threaten me. Before Kaguya could finish speaking, Yu Chen interrupted. I feel bad when I'm threatened, and I like to make others feel bad when I'm in a bad mood, so do you want to feel bad? Kaguya. The concubine also hates being threatened. But for the sake of the stars, the concubine can bear it. If you want to temporarily seal up the seeds of the inheritance god tree, just inhale them in your body and place them anywhere other than the dantian. If you want to use them, you can directly import them into the dantian. Kagaya didn't want to give Yu Chen the opportunity to take advantage of the loopholes, so he took the initiative to explain. Zhao Yu Chen's eyes flashed. He didn't rush to use it, but asked, "Why don't you use this seed?" "I don't need to be a concubine," Kagaya said in a flat tone. "The members of Otsutsuki branch house are not qualified to meet the lower body of Otsutsuki Shiba's room." The concubine was originally the eldest daughter of the clan, and accidentally became a member of the branch house at the age of 100. However, at the age of 100, she still had the opportunity to meet the body of Otsutsuki Shiba, and get the seed of the inherited magic. After using this seed, you can obtain the sky-opening eye technique, which can open a gap between your eyebrows. In this slit, you can choose to transplant any eye as a carrier, and then devour the pupils in other people's eyes and turn them into your own pupils. There is no limit to the number of eyes. But if the first pupil technique comes from Beian, you can only devour Beian, Tensigen and other Otsutsuki powers. If the first pupil technique comes from Mangekyo Sharingan, you can only devour the power of Mangekyo Sharingan, Rinnegan and other sacred trees. Then use this sacred tree to Sharin behind the sky eye, and then continue to evolve at the same time. But what happened later, you should know. Hearing this, Yu Chen nodded. Of course he knew that it was Kaguya's sneak attack, and later he swallowed the Tianwei fruit to have the reincarnation Sharingan. In other words, she really can't use this divine technique. No problem. Then I'll use it. Yu Chen inhales the seeds into the body and transports them to Dan Tianchun. Soon, a force spread in his body. After comprehending, he suddenly controlled that force to gather on his forehead. The crack did not appear, instead there was a nice pattern of hockey. What is this? Kagaya Haim asked instinctively. Of course it's the eye of the sky. Yu Chen smiled and said, "Opening the celestial eye does not really mean opening the third eye. The celestial eye can also be said to be the celestial eye, which is a kind of supernatural power. Since it is a kind of supernatural power, then of course it can be manifested in a supernatural way. It's also a meaning to change it to a divine technique. I tried it, and it worked. Kagaya. Is this the magic of my Otsutsuki clan, or your Yu Chen's magic? We played without you understanding. Puff haha. Female. It's really a long-lost familiar opening line. But this time, without Yu Chen writing, they have already guessed the follow-up content. Kagaya G's wonderful expression looks really interesting, so it must be recorded, with pictures. She must be thinking, they are dignified Otsutsuki clan's magical arts, why I, a human being, can use them better than them for the first time when I come into contact with them. After all, according to the aesthetics of normal people, growing a third eye on the forehead does not make them look good, and even makes them scary. Women especially think so, but between strength and beauty, normal people will choose the former. But I take both into account, she will naturally feel strange. In fact, although the sky eye is an eye, it is not really necessary to have a third fixed eye. It is more like a state, an application of supernatural powers. Kagaya said that after using the seed of inheritance magic, you can get the sky opening eye technique. When you use it, you can open a slit between your eyebrows, and choose to transplant any eye as a carrier, even if it is a common eye, and then devour the pupils in other people's eyes, turning into self-pupil technique. There is no limit on the number. She also said that if the first pupil technique to swallow comes from Beian, it can only swallow Beian, Tensigen and other Otsutsuki powers. If the first pupil technique comes from Mangekyo Sharingan, it can swallow Mangekyo Sharingan, Rinnegan and other sacred trees department of power. There is actually a big question here, that is, if I transplant a Rinnegan and evolve with the swallowing white pupil technique, will it be possible to evolve in both directions? When a contradiction arises, it can be found that the direction of this magic technique was wrong from the beginning. Since the eyes of the sky are opened, it is naturally all-encompassing, but because of the transplanted and solidified real eyes, the development is limited. The root of divine art is naturally the art itself. With the seed of the art as the carrier, it is the true sky eye, which can devour all pupil arts. Can't the Otsutsuki clan think of such a simple thing? No, they can think of it, but their arrogance limits their thinking and vision and makes them narrowly think that what the clan has mastered is everything. Fortunately, I was not misled by Kagaya, otherwise it would be ugly to have eyes on the forehead. While writing in the diary, Zhao Yu Chen sat cross-legged and volleyed in the air, comprehending the mysteries of magic. He could feel that the seeds of inheriting the divine arts had taken root, germinated, and grown above the eyebrows. Next, as long as there is an eye with a pupil technique, he can use the sky eye to devour it, peel off the pupil technique, and make it a fruit on the big tree. And if there are more pupil eyes, the sky eyes will grow again, just like reincarnation Sharingan. He has earned this magic spell. Kagaya looked at the beautiful line on Yu Chen's brow, and subconsciously reached out to wipe the center of his brow. As the strength continues to recover, the crack between the brows is also becoming clear, in which the reincarnation Sharingan is recovering. Before today, she had never regretted her decision, even if she would be regarded as a traitor by her family after snatching 10 tails in the fruit of the sacred tree, she would face pursuit or even punishment. Without strength, you will end up as an ant. With strength, no matter how difficult the situation is, there is still a chance for change. But now, for the first time, regret appeared in her heart, and it was still very strong. If she had known the correct way to open the Sky Eye technique, she would definitely not have chosen the path of sneak attacking Otsutsuki. The road of planting a sacred tree, swallowing elixir, rolling eyes and reincarnation Sharingan is a proven road to success, and it is the foundation of their Otsutsuki. But this road grows too slowly, and if she chooses to awaken Tensigan, the eyebrows open the sky, swallow other eyes, and evolve with the fusion pupil technique, the speed will be very fast. Tensigan is above the white eyes, and has most of the functions of Rinnegan, while the Sky Eye, like the reincarnation Sharingan, can grow, and can also be used as white eyes, with basic functions. If you choose this path, you will rise faster, and you will not have to face the pursuit of the Otsutsuki family, and may even be vigorously cultivated by the family. Arrogant, Kagaya moved his lips lightly, and spit out 2 words. Yu Chen is right. Everything is because of her inherent arrogance, which limits her vision. If you want to grow up, perhaps the most important thing is to overcome this character. There can be arrogance, even arrogance, but never arrogance. The wood is done. Regret will only limit yourself. Go forward, the road is at the feet of my concubine. With her eyes fixed, Kagaya looked up at Yu Chen, and said lightly, "You are very good. On the day when you awaken Tensigan, you can be a concubine." The voice fell, and the ice mirror shattered. At the same time, in the group chat of the copy of the diary, the live broadcast was interrupted. Xianglin. Sisters, what did Kaguyaji say in the end? After a long silence, Uzumaki was the first to speak in the group chat. Hinata. It seems that after Yu Chen big brother awakens Tensigan, he is qualified to be her husband. Ino. Is this a confession? Chakra's ancestor sicken. Terumi Mei. After all, she is a woman. She has not been married for thousands of years. Of course, she should take the initiative when she meets a suitable one. Tsunade. What you said, I think it's right for me to be wasted until now. Ju Xingna. If you want to find a step for yourself, what do you say after opening Tensigan? Makoto. Well, this is the ancestor of Chakra, and the high-ranking ones don't know who to pretend to be. Kagaya. Ridiculous. Don't use your narrow eyes to speculate on concubines. Kagaya. Let me tell you one thing first, if Yu Chen does not reach the level of opening Tensigan, she will not even be able to pierce the membrane of her concubine body. Am I trying to trick him? Female. Good guy, as expected of you, you have such a powerful speech. What kind of elements is your film made of, and it's still so weird? Seems right. Tsunade wiped his chin. She is no big deal to the extent of Kagaya, but using ninja art, meiotic regeneration, chakra enough, any wound on the body can be repaired. Also, Kagaya-ji is too powerful to kill, and her physique must be different from ordinary people. Plastic film is a film, but tempered film is not a film? Kagaya. Regardless of the difference in the essence of life, as Yu Chen said, the concubine is a person with strong desires, the low-level desire is indulgence, and the advanced desire is restraint. The concubine is not a frigid person, but has been waiting for the right person. Kagaya. The concubine disdains to be a little daughter, and has no interest in boring love affairs. If I like it, and if I say it outright, I just want to show it. Why put on an air? Karama Yakumo. Then why do you still emphasize that brother Yu Chen must awaken Tensigan to be qualified to be your husband? I think you are quite a snobbish, bad woman. Yakumo felt angry that Kagaya compared Yu Chen as an item. Kagaya. Snobbery. Seeking good fortune and avoiding evil is the nature of biology. I have long said that Mu Chang is a woman's nature. I don't deny this, but whether it is good or bad depends on your performance after making a decision. Kagaya. For example, if Yu Chen is placed in front of you, can other men still look like you? It is correct to choose him, but if you are in a hurry after making a choice, and want to change after seeing someone who is more excellent than Yu Chen, then it's bad, it's snobbery. Kagaya. The concubine in the past just didn't make a choice, waiting for more choices to appear, but the concubine now just figured out some things and made the most correct choice at the moment. And the future concubine will follow this choice. Even if she dies, she will not regret it. Do you understand? Kurama Yakumo. So you think like this. In fact, it is no different from me. You have been educated. Fragrant phosphorus. Is this the thinking of the ancestor of chakra? I love it, love it. Makoto. Sure enough, I have lived a long time, and I can see clearly. This time I will not treat you. Yu Rihong. Indeed, before making a decision, you have the qualifications to compare, but after making a decision, unless the other party is wrong, you should abide by yourself. For a while, all the women agreed with Kaguya's statement. I didn't expect that this arrogant guy's 3 views were not so crooked. At this time, Yu Chen felt Bing Jing's shattered brow lines flashing. Although the vertical stripes are not in the shape of eyes, they can be used as eyes, but they need to consume chakra, and they are only equivalent to common eyes for the time being. But this consumption of chakra is negligible for Yu Chen who owns chakra. Is this a farewell to me, or a successful blind date? With a chuckle, Zhao Yu Chen didn't think too much, and took out a scroll without any disturbance in his heart. Boom. 4 streams of smoke rose up, and 4 test tubes appeared. 4 blood-colored eyes are soaked in the test tube, 2 of which have the same pattern, and the other 2 are different. These are the 2 Mangekyo Sharingan of Uchiha Itachi, the right eye of Uchiha Shisui, and the left eye of Uchiha Fugaku. Without hesitation, he cast the divine spell directly according to the method he remembered. A streamer flashed above the vertical stripes, shooting out a beam of light to cover the eye on the furthest mouth. At this moment, he felt that he came to a strange world, and saw a big tree growing, and a fruit was born on it. The pattern is Uchiha Shisui's eyes. When this fruit was fully formed, he immediately felt that his sky eye had an extra ability. Distinguished heavenly gods. This process lasted for a full day. Zhao Yu Chen didn't stop, and took out his second eye. Uchiha Itachi's left eye, which has the pupil technique Tsukuyomi. At this moment, a message suddenly appeared in the group chat that had been quiet for a long time. Yukura. At Otsutsuki Kagaya, sister, help. A traitor has appeared among us. Makoto. Hakura, what's the matter with you? You were brainwashed by Kagayaji's words. Black soil. Is this a traitor? Tamari. Well, sister Hakura, San Shinobi hurt you. It is the fault of those high-level people in our village. It may make you not trust people easily, but I think you can trust again, and don't change your family easily. Terumi Mei. Yi Kang. Everyone is the owner of the blood succession limit. Listen to my sister's advice, don't change your position casually. Yi Kang. If I'm not dead, it should be your sister. Bah. This group really has problems, they're all on fire, and I'm still crooked. Yi Kang. Photo Huang Quan appeared on our side. Yu Chen-kun doesn't know where it is yet, so I can only ask Kagaya-ji for help, to see if Yu Chen-kun is still on the moon. If he is, we can only have a showdown, right? Seeing this sentence, the expressions of the girls holding the diaries suddenly froze. It's not that they have forgotten the current situation of Yi Kang and Xian, and Hinata and Ino are paying close attention to it in real time. It's just that they have a kind of natural trust in Yu Chen, thinking that he actually pays attention to the situation at Yi Kang, and will definitely deal with it. Isn't it? Azuki Xian, at Yeking, are you sure Mr. Yu Chen hasn't arrived at your place yet? Yi Kang. Definitely and definitely, because after the appearance of Huang Quan, our current situation is getting worse and worse, and with Yu Chen as a person, he must appear at the first time, instead of waiting until the last second to come out to be handsome. Fragrant phosphorus. I always feel that you are connoting someone. Kushina. Who else could it be? Namikaze Minato. By Wooden Golem. Hey, didn't you completely delete the relevant memories? Hakeina. The memory has been deleted, I have now regained my life, but I still have a diary, and I can see the content loaded on it, so I also know how Namikaze Minato forced Black Uchiha to do it. Ino. Indeed, I don't know if it's for the sake of being handsome, but 4th generation always appears at the last second, or 1 second later. Brother Yu Chen doesn't have this kind of character at all. Kurama Yakumo. After all, for my husband, our safety is more important. Yi Kang. So, why did you go upstairs again? Female. Group chats are poisonous, and when the special members are all a group of women, there is really a kind of magic. Kagaya. My concubine observes with a telescope technique and finds that Yu Chen is still on the moon. With pictures. Makoto. Hey, you actually know how to answer Hakura's question, shouldn't you make Hakura and the others feel hopeless? Kagaya. It's ridiculous, the concubine has already decided to become a Taoist couple with Yu Chen. All his women can be regarded as sisters. Why does the concubine make you feel desperate? Hinata. Ancestor, your ability to accept is very strong. Kaguya. Don't call the concubine the ancestor. The concubine is just creating and raising Yukin. When he and Yuya jointly sealed the concubine, he was no longer worthy to be the son of the concubine. Hinata. Understood, is that sister? Kaguya. Yes. Makoto. How old are you? Are you still a sister? Tsunade. Kaguya. Thousands of years may be much more than teens, but you have a copy of the diary, and you are qualified to become Yuchen women. It is also possible to obtain eternal life in the future. Then after 10,000 years, you will feel 10,000 is a few thousand years much older than 10,000 teens. 10,000 years, 100 years, endless years, these are nothing. Tsunade. That's right, 50 years old is compared to 12 years old. It's true that an old woman is compared to a young girl, but 150 years old is compared to 112 years old, isn't it always old? Shizune. Master Tsunade, you understand. Full marks. Makoto. You can say it, but I am very surprised about one thing. You should be able to feel the existence of Yuchen. Why use the telescope technique to observe? For this ancestor of chakra, who Yuchen should be cautious about, even if she speaks normally now and is very close to them, she is still skeptical. Only when but Yuchen is at ease with Kaguya-ji, will she let down her vigilance. Kaguya. Funny, do you think the current Yuchen are the previous Yuchen? Kaguya. 10 Tails body ghetto statue and 10 Tails chakra are not around, and the strength of the concubine is not one. Maybe not as powerful as Uchiha Madara who opened Rinnegan. Kaguya. Yuchen is now only one step away from the 6 paths level, and the concubine's body is sealed, unless he actively releases chakra. Otherwise he can't perceive it, understand? Makoto. Understood, I have no problem for the time being. The question now is, do you think Kaguya-ji and Yuchen should see the showdown? I vote for Germany. Hearing this, all the girls immediately wanted to make a statement. But Kaguya spoke before them. Kaguya. We are lucky, we don't need to be exposed yet. Terumi Mei. How to say? Kaguya. See for yourself. Kaguya directly started the live broadcast. One day later, the girls entered the live broadcast room again, and while seeing Kaguya, they saw Yuchen on the other end through the ice mirror. What's up? Yuchen stopped absorbing the Mangekyo in his hand and turned to face Otsutsuki Toneri. My lord, you caused an accident in a place I've been paying attention to. Sharon knelt on one knee and reported. Where? Located on the eastern island of the Land of Fire, the Ghost Undead Army has returned. Those people you brought to my attention are in a very bad situation now. Oh? Yuchen lowered his legs to the ground, stepped in front of the giant Tensigan, and raised a hand. Chakra Link. The huge Tensigan is like a magnifying glass in his hand, allowing him to control and use it. Precisely positioning and zooming in, Yuchen's eyes quickly landed on an island. I saw that the enchantment formed by the charm and the natural chakra changed from invisible to tangible, and there seemed to be a dark wall of light around the island, holding it in place. In the center of the island, countless undead ghosts, our clay armor puppets are tirelessly attacking Yi Kang, Ziyuan and others. The number is like bees, like ants marching, countless. Relying on their strength, Yi Kang and the others can temporarily withstand this wave of shocks, combining ninjutsu and other techniques, and with various coordination, they can destroy the puppets. But except for Jiraiya's senjutsu, other people's attacks are invalid attacks. That is to say, after a period of time, the destroyed puppets launch an attack again in order to resurrect in situ. Only puppets that are resolved with immortal techniques will completely disappear and lose their power. It can be predicted that when Jiraiya chakra is exhausted, their pressure will increase and casualties will occur. Huang Quan and the others have resurrected, no wonder. I wanted to go after absorbing the Mangekyo Sharingan pupil technique, but now it seems that I have to postpone it for a while. Yuchen withdrew his hand, turned his head to face a section, and said, Kaguya-ji is looking for me, is there something wrong? An ice mirror appeared, revealing Kaguya's whole body. I just want to see if you are still there. Kaguya said calmly, if you are still there, I have a question for you. What's the problem? Otsutsuki one style. Kaguya said coldly, you really don't know. Why did he pass on the family name in the first place? It's interesting to call yourself a change. Yuchen frowned, nodded and said, I really don't know, but I have a very sure guess. What guess? I'll tell you when I wake up Tensigan. But, you tell me now, and I can't trouble him. So, you want to come out early because you want to make trouble? That's right. At the beginning, I was not strong enough, and I needed to sacrifice Otsutsuki to plant the sacred tree, so after I attacked and seriously injured him, I sacrificed immediately. Since he is not dead, I want to get everything about him. So, Yu Chen didn't know if he believed it, so he nodded slightly and said, then everything will be discussed after I awaken Tensigen. If you have nothing else, I will leave the moon for the time being. I'll see you off. Teru Yoruichi waved. The next moment, one appeared in front of Yukong. It seems that you have recovered a lot of strength now. Zhao Yuchen smiled lightly and stepped into the light sphere one step at a time. When he takes another step, the off ball comes under a water surface. Wow. Leaving the water, Yuchen stretched out his hand and made a seal. Boom. In Konoha village, is listening to the 3 Yuchen shadow clone taught by Senju Tobarama to Ying and turned into smoke. With the return of a lot of information, Yuchen has a lot of water-style knowledge and water-style ninjutsu printing methods in his mind. By the way, there is also Senju Hashirama's Sage Mode practice. Not bad. With a chuckle, Yuchen started to cast the Flying Thunder God technique to drive towards the land of water. Kagaya. Yuchen has returned to the ninja world. With his current strength, it won't be long before he arrives. Yi Kang. Saved. Samui. Calm down, don't relax until the last moment. Yi Kang. Don't worry, I'm not slacking off, but Zayuan said that she lost the ability to foresee death. Ino. How could this happen? Kagaya. It means that fate has been broken, and no one around her will die. Ino. Great. Ino breathed a sigh of relief. If Yamanaka will not die, then naturally he will not be lost. Kagaya. But you have to pay attention, due to the release of fate, Ziyuan's ability to suppress evil spirits will be minimized in the next day, so the next day, Zion will be very dangerous. What? Seeing Kaguya's reminder, Yi Kang shuddered and looked at Xian beside him. Roar. Oops. Boom. A pure purple exudes an evil aura, and a long whip of chakra energy like an octopus tentacles breaks out of the ground and shoots straight at Xian's neck. Seeing this scene, Yi Kang's pupils shrank suddenly, but she was being besieged by a group of puppets, and she couldn't spare her hands to save people. Others, such as Ino Shika Cho, Hyuga Tokuma, Aburame Jue, etc., also have opponents around them. Jiraiya, who entered Sage Mode, was ready to save people, but Huang Quan not far away from him had already raised his hand, and at this time controlled 4 pure purple energy whips to inject evil power into 4 subordinates. This is the power of chakra, which is similar to Xianju. In Sage Mode, Jiraiya's perception is very strong, and she immediately noticed that something was wrong with Huang Quan's 4 subordinates at this time. The situation of Chakra's surge is similar to that of him entering Sage Mode. Boom. I saw 2 of them waved their hands at the same time, and a huge tornado appeared, because a fireball inside was gradually getting bigger. When the tornado chooses faster and faster, the fireball is quickly absorbed and swallowed to become a part of the tornado. A huge fire tornado covering tens of meters over Fang Yuan appeared and pushed forward, bringing pressure to people. Seeing this, Jiraiya immediately realized that she couldn't save people, so she had to come out and use water-style Hefeng Dun's combined ninjutsu to block it. Otherwise, Naraluju and others may be in danger. Hateful. The decision to give up Zayuan made Jiraiya very unhappy, but after all, it is not difficult to make a choice because she has participated in 2 ninja wars. Summoning technique. Sage Art, Toad Water Cannonball. Jiraiya responded immediately. In the rear, Zayuan watched the purple energy whip approaching her. Her legs were trembling and she couldn't move at all. Everything seems to be coming to an end. Jingle. When the purple energy was about to touch Aster, a crisp bell sounded. An invisible force appeared, which seemed to form a wall in front of Ziyuan, blocking the purple energy tentacles. The tentacles even exploded and dissipated in the air. Blocked. Huang Quan's face froze with a real smile on his face. He saw the timing and shot, in order to snatch Zayuan, not to kill. Originally, he didn't need Zayuan at all, and he could enter the underground temple where the spirit of Chi Mei was sealed, and open the seal and sealing place, so that Mei Mei's soul could be liberated. As for the charming body in the marsh land, he naturally didn't bother to care about it. His purpose is to become Jinchuriki, and the power that makes all this possible is the dark medical ninjutsu created by him, which allows him to integrate the spirit of evil spirits into his body. Because Zayuan left the kingdom of ghosts, the soul of Meimei woke up early and found him, which made his plan to save the spirit of Meimei start 3 years in advance. If the preparation was not sufficient, a living Ziyuan was needed to help enter the underground temple of the Kingdom of Ghosts. Fortunately, after the ghost woke up, his strength increased rapidly, even in the face of many Konoha elite Jonin and Jiraiya, the three of legendary. But Ziyuan seems to be much harder to catch than he imagined. It's Mom. After a brief moment of astonishment, Ziyuan took out a bell that she carried with her, and her eyes gradually became moist. She felt as if she saw a peerless figure through time and space. That was her mother, the witch Maitreya of the previous generation who died to seal the evil. The black energy tentacles couldn't touch her, obviously because of the power in the bell. Ziyuan, are you alright? Ambassador Yi Konkai made a steaming kill move, and after finishing off the terracotta warriors around him, he came to Ziyuan's side in a few dodges. I'm fine. Ziyuan looked at Yi Kang, holding the bell in both hands, and said in a trembling voice, it's Mom who protected me. It's fine. Seeing that Ziyuan was indeed fine, Yi Kang breathed a sigh of relief, and then looked at the bell in her hand. Is this some kind of strange prop? If there is such a thing, shouldn't Kagaya-hime have said it sooner? Could it be that this is something that even Kagaya doesn't know? Yi Kang. Bell, Sister Kagaya. What is this? Kagaya. Isn't this a bell? Yi Kang. This is a bell, but it doesn't seem to be a common bell, doesn't my sister know? Kagaya. My concubine has been sealed for thousands of years, and I don't know everything about today's ninja world. Yi Kang. No. The bell suddenly erupted with strange power and saved Ziyuan's life. She said that the bell contained the power of her mother, the previous witch Maitreya, so I thought it was given by you, my sister. Things. Kagaya. I don't know who I am, but this should be a treasure that the priestesses have obtained and passed down in the past 1,000 years, similar to the fairy talisman in the hand of Mount Myoboku Nose Toad. Yi Kang. Got it. Then I will wait for Yu Chen to arrive and see if he knows the origin of the bell. Kagaya. Yes. Makoto. I didn't expect there to be something Kagaya's sister didn't even know, it really surprised me. Kagaya. Seeing that you are called my sister, I don't care about you this time. As for the things you said I don't know, they do exist on this planet, and there are many. There is even a piece of my identity in unexplorable continent. Samui. There is a continent that you can't even explore. Does this planet still exist? Kagaya. The universe is huge, there are thousands of races, and there are many strange planets, which is normal. Kagaya. But I can safely plant the sacred tree on this planet, which means that this planet does not exist to counter the power of my Otsutsuki clan, so there is no need to be afraid, it is just a little mysterious. Kagaya. It is not the time for you, even Yu Chen, to understand these things. Kagaya-ji doesn't know about this bell either. Have you ever heard your mother mention it yourself? Yi Kang asked Ziyuan, throwing several fireballs at the same time. Boom. The fireball fell to the ground and exploded, blowing away more than a dozen terracotta warriors in one direction. Mother never came and never told me about the bell. Ziyuan shook her head lightly after deep thought, and recalled, she just warned me since I was a child that I must wear the bell well to save my life. Yi Kang nodded and said, it seems that only Yu Chen knows about the bell. I don't know how long it will take for him to get here. It should be soon. Xian clenched the bell tightly, as if this would allow her to have endless power, and said, Mr. Jiraiya's sage mode can't last long, and once we lose the combat power to use fairy arts, we won't be able to survive the attack of Huang Quan and others. How long will you hold on? But everyone's mortal fate has been broken, so Master Yu Chen will definitely arrive before Mr. Jiraiya releases sage mode. That would be the best. The heroic Yi Kang threw a few fireballs again. But the two didn't know that Yu Chen had actually arrived and was standing on the trunk of a big tree near them, watching the scene silently. If it weren't for Yi Kang's words, he would definitely show up immediately. But now that he appeared, it was hard not to make Ziyuan and Yi Kang feel uneasy, feeling that he had heard the conversation. For the time being, he doesn't want to have a showdown with these women who think they are taking advantage of him, he has to be a victim. Then wait for Jiraiya's sage mode to end, I'll show up just in time. But now, there are other things to do. Yu Chen looked at Xian's face, and opened the diary selection mark. Hearing the conversation between the two women, he would be foolish if he wasn't sure that Ziyuan also had a diary. The indifferent witch, who was originally weary of the world and only wished for death, left the Kingdom of Ghosts to go to Konoha on her own initiative. She really wanted to find him, Zhao Yu Chen. Please confirm the mark, if the mark is wrong. Sure. Yu Chen walked through the process. Confirm to add tag, Aster. The marking is successful, and the marking ability can be randomly extracted. After the extraction is successful, the extraction can be performed again every 3 days. Extract. Zhao Yuchen made the choice directly. The current Xian is still a common person with only 2 special abilities. This means that as long as Ziyuan is extracted, one must choose between the 2 abilities of seal the power of evil spirits and foresee the moment of death of people around you. And these 2 abilities are good means. Although the former is said to seal the power of evil spirits, it is definitely more than just evil spirits. The latter can foresee the death of people around him, which is very useful for him. Successful extraction. Dark Chakra Seal, Cleansing Power. Dark Chakra Seal and Cleansing Power. Is this the essence of the power of the Miko lineage to seal the demons and monsters? Zhao Yuchen's eyes brightened up. He remembered that Huang Quan created a kind of dark medical ninjutsu in the past few decades of silence. Using this kind of dark medical ninjutsu, he can even cut himself open, and then let the soul of the evil spirit live in it, bringing him strength. In the original track, after Ziyuan and Naruto successfully eliminated the demon, he said that in the demon's body, he learned that its power comes from the evil power in the human heart. As long as human beings still exist, its demon will eventually be reborn. This is similar to the situation of Zero Tail, which does not have a body itself, and is reborn from time to time by relying on the dark chakra. The priestess lineage is just right to attack the power of the dark chakra. Zhao Yuchen smiled. Isn't this a gift for Lord Madara? At the same time, a place full of evil spirits, surrounded by cliffs and precipices around the island. Uchiha Madara crossed her arms, opened the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and spoke indifferently. Black Zetsu, are you sure there is the power of the Sage of 6 Paths here? Master Madara, I am your will, I cannot speak to you. Black Zetsu lowered his head and said respectfully, during your absence, my subordinates have been following your orders, monitoring Uzumaki Nagato, monitoring Uchiha Obito, looking for promising Uchiha tribe, collect tail beast information and look for information related to the Sage of 6 Paths. A year ago, my subordinate came to this isolated island surrounded by cliffs and seas by chance. Here is a prison jointly built by the 5 major powers. The outside world calls it the Ghost Lantern City. It is specially used to detain the heinous criminals in the ninja world. The subordinates have been lurking here for a period of time and learned that there is a mysterious box called the Box of Bliss. As long as it can be opened, the person who opened it can fulfill a wish, any wish is fine. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara immediately showed a disdainful smile. As my will, you shouldn't believe this ridiculous information that is spread around. Anyone who can realize the desire of opening, if I want to surpass Sage of 6 Paths, or want to directly become 10 Tails Jinchuriki, can it help me realize it? The most powerful force in this world is the all-encompassing power possessed by the combination of Uchiha and Senju. It is the Rinnegan that I opened. The Box of Bliss, at best, is just a powerful ninja tool, like the 6 Paths ninja tool that Gold Horn and Silver Horn killed that bastard Senju Tobirama. Master Madara's advice. Black Zetsu lowered his body, and disdain flashed deep in his eyes. What Rinnegan? That's just what Mom created, power. 10 Tails Jinchuriki, infinite Tsukuyomi, that's the power only a mother can have. You are crazy, but you are just a poor bastard who was fooled by me with a stone tablet. After my investigation, this Box of Bliss seems to be the ultimate weapon of the Sage of 6 Paths era. There is a special spell in the box that can bring powerful power to the owner. Now that Konoha is very powerful, if you get this Box of Bliss, it will definitely be of great use. This made Uchiha Madara nod. He is only in the state of impure world reincarnation now. Although he can barely activate Rinnegan, it does not mean that he has the strength to push everything across. Senju Hashirama can match him. If he wants to directly grab the 9-tailed beasts and make himself 10 Tails Jinchuriki, he also needs to increase his combat power as much as possible. Walk. I hope this Box of Bliss can make me feel interesting. Uchiha Madara strode towards the Ghost Lamp City. Black Zetsu followed respectfully, a strange look flashed in his eyes. The power in the Box of Bliss will definitely satisfy you. Even used this kind of backhand, Madara, don't let me down. At the same time, it is also on an isolated island. Huang Quan's 4 subordinates joined the battlefield after being blessed by the Dark Chakra, and performed various powerful ninjutsu and combined ninjutsu without the need for seals, which made it more and more difficult for Jiraiya and others to cope. If this goes on, it is foreseeable that when Jiraiya's Sage Mode is lifted, it will be their downfall. Maybe it's because he hasn't touched the power in Ziyuan's bell and he doesn't want to attack rashly, or because he has decided on Yi Kang and others, and feels that there will be a lot of time to deal with Ziyuan in the future. Dong Quan has never made a move against her. Seeing this scene, Ziyuan couldn't help becoming anxious. At this moment, the copy of Zhao Yuchen's diaries suddenly indicated that there was a content update. She opened it immediately to check. Today is a good day. I got a promise from Kagaya-ji that she will help me find the Master of 10 Tails, although I don't think it's very useful. I got the Open Sky Eye technique from Kagaya-ji, and their Otsutsuki clan is not as good as me in using this magic technique. Kagaya-heim. If you write something once, why do it again? Do you understand that you are suspected of having bad numbers? If it's annoying, I might have to dress up as a bunny girl and dance to calm the anger. Kagaya took the initiative to confess to me. Is it because he and I opened up a space for couples? Space for couples? Toru Yoruichi stunned. Isn't that the Kamui space of Uchiha Obito and Kakashi? But thinking that Yu Chen will be in the Imperial Palace, and can freely enter and exit her weaving space and Shichu space, it is not false to say that I have a couple space with her. And there are many. Couple space, admiration, admiration. The girls were panting in their hearts. Who can refuse a private space that only you and your lover can set foot in? Today is a good day. After opening the eyes of the sky, I began to devour the pupil technique in the Mangekyo Sharingan in my hand. Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, Distinguished Heavenly Gods, and Uchiha Fugaku's unknown Mangekyo pupil technique, which seems to be able to predict or deduce the future, are all good. Uchiha Itachi is going to cry. Makoto laughed and shook his head. What, it's a pity for Sasuke. Kushina joked. Don't make such a joke. Makoto rolled his beautiful eyes and said seriously. Let's not talk about Yu Chen's character. I will definitely not wrong Sasuke, and Sasuke can get a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan by his side in the future. Even if Yu Chen really snatched these two Mangekyo Sharingan, it's okay. This is his trophy. Why must it be given to Sasuke? And to Sasuke, I only have the mentality of making up for one or two family affections for myself in the previous life. I can't control this kind of thing. Hearing this, Kushina smiled strangely. I'm not Yu Chen. Why are you explaining so much to me? Makoto clenched his fists and said angrily, who knows if you will talk nonsense. Makoto, don't we even have this little trust between us? Hee. Makoto, we can sleep in the same bed. Speaking of this, I remember the last time I practiced Sage Mode with Yu Chen. You asked me to help you for a while, but you slipped away first, which led to me being specially trained by Yu Chen alone. I haven't settled with you yet. Oh, the weather is really nice today. Konoha is raining today. I just love rainy days. I see you want me to bring rain on the pear blossoms you beat. The lady speaks without moving her hands. The two girlfriends immediately quarreled. It took one day to successfully merge with Distinguished Heavenly Gods. When I was about to continue to merge with Tsukuyomi, I was interrupted by Otsutsuki and told me about the situation of Hakura's wife and the others. My wife is in trouble, so naturally I have to help as soon as possible. Just as I was about to leave, Kaguya's wife had a heart-to-heart. She appeared to say goodbye to me, and took the initiative to send me to the entrance of the Earth-Moon Passage, so happy. Returning to the ninja world, I will immediately receive the results of Shadow Clone's class in the past few days, and understand the situation in Konoha. If I have a system, I can definitely hear a lot of water-style ninjutsu experience +1, water-style ninjutsu experience +1 voices now. After confirming that Konoha is as peaceful as ever, I started to rush to Hakura's wife and the others. Actually, I'm not in a hurry, because with Ziyuan around, it's very difficult for Yi Kang and the others to have an accident. But out of caution, I still have to rush to the scene. What do you mean when I'm here? It's hard for Sister Yi Kang and the others to have an accident. Ziyuan frowned subconsciously. She is just an ordinary witch, with the ability to seal monsters and predict the death around her. Among them, the ability to predict death disappeared when Yu Chen went to them and his fate was broken. She still has the power to seal monsters, but she doesn't know how to use it. If Yu Chen doesn't come, she can't save Yi Kang and the others at all. Could it be it? Ziyuan thought of something, and looked down at the bell in her hand. This bell can independently stop Huang Quan's attack, so can it also attack Huang Quan and the others? Speaking of which, Huang Quan's purple energy tentacles were very aggressive just now, but they dissipated instantly after touching the power of the bell, as if encountering a nemesis. Could it be that this Bell King killed Huang Zong's history? Xian looked at the rest. The weather is clear and cloudless. I finally arrived at the isolated island. I left the mark of Flying Thunder God on Yi Kang, and mere barriers can't stop me. Entering the barrier, I found that the battle was coming to an end, and Jiraiya and the others could hardly bear it anymore. The good news is that Ziyuan has noticed the extraordinariness of the bell, and maybe Huang Quan and the others can be dealt with without me taking action. Sure enough, it's a bell. Ziyuan's eyes lit up, and she immediately looked at Yi Kang, but Yi Kang was also looking at her. The two women exchanged a look and immediately understood what the other meant. Member Yi Kang started the live broadcast. Possessing unlimited chakra, Yi Kang decided to live broadcast the hunting and killing scene for all the girls. Immediately, all the women in the group chat joined the live broadcast room. Steam kill. I saw 8 fireballs appearing out of nowhere around Yi Kang, and then flew out autonomously, falling in 8 directions. Boom. Accompanied by continuous explosions, countless puppets were blown up and blown away, forming a vacuum area for a short time. Ziyuan, give me the bell. Yi Kang came to Ziyuan and spread his hand. Ah? Ziyuan's expression was astonished, and Purple's eyes flickered. It's not that she is good at acting and pretends to be. She was really surprised by Yi Kang's behavior. If you ask for the bell so nakedly, aren't you afraid that Mr. Yu Chen will find it tricky? Huang Quan wanted to attack you just now, but it was the power of the bell that saved you. I suspect that this bell has the effect of restraining the underworld. Let me try it. Yi Kang secretly praised Ziyuan's acting skills in his heart, but on the surface he was anxious to urge her. Oh. Ziyuan hastily handed over the bell. Yi Kang grabbed the bell and ran forward immediately. Jiraiya and the others have good eyesight and cover Yi Kang in various ways, helping her kill Huang Quan. Steam kill. Yi Kang didn't know how to use the power of the bell, so he just used it as a weapon, wrapped it in a fireball and threw it. Huang Quan, it's over. Yi Kang shouted, with a smile on his lips. Calendar hanging. But the next moment, her expression froze. Mistgrass. Why did Ziyuan give the bell to Yi Kang and let her go to attack? What is the use of this? What do they think? Yi Kang. Aster. Female. Everything. Yi Kang Black's eyes suddenly widened. Truth be told, she is a ninja who loves to fight. She is well aware of the importance of high concentration when playing against people. Therefore, when the girls are chatting in the group chat, she will not pay attention to it separately. She has to wait until the rest time to read it in one go and collect useful information. Therefore, even if Yu Chen's diary is updated, she will not be in a hurry to read it immediately, and she will not be distracted while reading it while fighting with others. But this time, she made an exception. After spending so long in the group chat, she inevitably got infected with a wicked style. Relying on the information in Yu Chen's diary, she successfully learned the purpose of the bell, but I really want to know how Yu Chen will be surprised and sigh after seeing this scene. Her mouth Kakuzu already put on a smile in advance. As a result, Yu Chen was really amazed, but it was because she used the wrong method of the bell. By wooden golem, wrong use. Ow, this is an embarrassing picture. Tamari. Sister Hakura, you look so dumb now. Black soil. I also specially opened a live broadcast for me to watch. Puff. It's not just black soil, all the girls laughed unkindly. In Yu Chen's words, are professionally trained ninjas, and they generally don't laugh unless. Can't help it. Now Yi Kang's expression is good, and whatever he's doing, it's really fun. Xianglin. Oh, I know that I learned formal language from Yu Chen Big Brother's diary, not bad. Ino. I still can't compare to you. Fragrant phosphorus. That is, you little party dishes. Yu Rihong. Huh. Anko. Whose DNA moved? Oh, it turned out to be Hong, who likes to drink late. Tsunade. Drinking. Who doesn't like it? Yi Kang. No, ladies and gentlemen, there is going to be trouble here. Can you still chat leisurely like this? Yi Kang was very speechless at this moment. Using the wrong bell, being seen as a joke by so many people is second to none. The main reason is that her situation is not good now. These women can still chat so easily. Don't you think it's too much, very heartless? Tamari. Sister Hakura, have you forgotten the current situation? Yukura. What's the situation? Isn't it that Mr. Jiraiya's sage mode has ended? Ino Shikacho and others have almost exhausted their chakra. In the diary, I know that the bell is a key item to deal with Huang Quan and Shi Mei, but did I use it wrong? It could be seen that Yi Kang was really agitated, and she who was usually very calm made such a long phone call in an instant. Hinata. Well, Sister Yi Kang, you mentioned Yu Chen Big Brother's diary, didn't you realize that he was there? Yi Kang. Of course I am conscious. Yi Kang was speechless again, very speechless. If she is not in impure world reincarnation state, her whole face will be flushed. Shame. That's right. Yu Chen has already rushed to the scene. How could he put them in danger? The result here was already doomed when Yu Chen arrived. Her nervousness is completely unnecessary, and the girls can rest assured. Yi Kang. I'm in a hurry here, so I won't chat with you for now. In a panic, Yi Kang decided to withdraw from the group chat temporarily. Otherwise, Kagaya-ji is a lesson learned from the past and will be besieged and exported. Scorch style, Longyun technique. Yi Kang quickly made a seal with his hands, and sprayed out a huge orange fire dragon from his mouth. Blood inheritance boundary is a special technique that can only be inherited by blood relationship through genes. Usually, except for people of the same bloodline who can inherit it, other people cannot learn it, and even Sharingan cannot copy it. Blood succession boundary can be divided into two categories. The first is the fusion of chakra nature transformation, which is the fusion of any two of the 7 basic chakra properties of fire, wind, thunder, earth, water, yin, and yang. Usually, there are very few ninjas you can develop a new escape technique by yourself, and if you succeed, it will be recorded by your own genes and passed on to the next generation through blood relationship. The second type is naturally upgraded organs, such as white eyes, Sharingan, dead bone pulse and so on. Senju Hashirama's wood style is a combination of water attribute chakra nature transformation and earth attribute chakra nature transformation, but because Senju Hashirama has a large amount of chakra, it has the ultimate yang attribute chakra, so wood style is extremely strong in its hands, and it is the blood succession to eliminate dust the level that Dundu can't match. Of course, the relationship between wood style and the sacred tree may be added. And scorch style is the fusion of fire attribute chakra nature transformation and wind attribute chakra nature transformation, so Yi Kang is not only good at scorch style, but also good at wind style ninjutsu and fire style ninjutsu. Haoyan Longyun technique is her improvement based on the B-level ninjutsu fire style Hao Huolong technique. The attack method is the same, but with the special effect of scorching slag. Where the Yanlong flies over, not a single blade of grass grows. In the disciples and vegetation not far away from Yanlong, the water vapor instantly transpired, and he became coughing dryly. Crack. Those terracotta warrior puppets transformed from clay as a carrier stopped in place one by one as if they lacked energy, and the water that made up their bodies began to disappear. But because their real power source is the dark attribute chakra, they didn't disappear directly, but began to slowly modify their appearance. Yi Kang's move was nothing more than delaying the pace of the terracotta warrior's attack. But in fact, she was just venting her anger. Of course, it also meant to deter Huang Quan's 4 subordinates. Scorch style is not very effective against terracotta warriors, but it is a big killer for humans whose body water accounts for more than 50%, or even 70%. Boom. Yi Kang controls Yanlong to restrict Huang Quan's 4 subordinates. And the giant great fireball she threw before attacked Huang Quan with a bell. Is there anything special about this bell? Thinking of the failure of his attack on Ziyuan just now, and now Yi Kang is going all out to attack him with the bell, he couldn't help but become vigilant. Back then, Maitreya was able to seal the demon and suppress him, and his means were powerful, so he had to guard against it. Shua. Huang Quan didn't dare to touch Yi Kang's sharp edge, and his figure started to retreat. At the same time, he also controlled the terracotta warriors who were besieging Jiraiya and others to give up their target, and turned to attack Yi Kang and the great fireball made by Yi Kang, trying to stop Yi Kang and put out the great fireball. Seeing this scene, Jiraiya wore toad eyeshadow, his eyes turned into frog eyes flashed, and immediately shouted to Yamanaka and the others, "Stop those terracotta warriors." In fact, there is no need for Jiraiya's reminder. Inoshika Cho, Hyuga Tokuma, Inazuka Takeshi, Aburame Shino and others all displayed their secret tricks to stop or destroy those terracotta warriors. Previously they were struggling to defend, but now they ignored chakra and launched a counterattack frenzy. Obviously, Yi Kang's actions and Huang Quan's response made them judge that Yi Kang had found a way to restrain Huang Quan. Get rid of Huang Quan, the guy with the dark chakra. They don't say they can win or leave, but they can definitely return to the situation where they can protect themselves a few days ago. The longer they persist, the greater the hope of waiting for reinforcements, and the better the chance of saving their lives. Boom. For a while, Huang Quan's party became the suppressed party instead, and it was hard to deal with it. The momentum of Jiraiya and others was completely revealed. Seeing this scene through the live broadcast, the girls were dumbfounded. Why are these guys fighting together all of a sudden? In fact, Yu Chen is not much better than them. Put 3 question marks first to show that I am completely confused at the moment. Sure enough, it is absolutely impossible for Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Hatchling to act alone. It is an eternal combination. Yi Kang is stupid, and Huang Quan is also stupid, and they even make stupid operations with everything. Wonderful, really wonderful. Crouching Dragon? Phoenix Chick? Near a newly built research base in the back mountain of Konoha village, Conan, who was making origami flowers into a Yu Chen shape, paused. If she remembers correctly, Yu Chen gave Uzumaki Nagato a new book before leaving, saying to comfort Nagato's depressed mood of being entangled by Senju Hashirama. The name of that book is The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and it tells the story of the end of the Eastern Han dynasty after the Shiji, when all the heroes rose together, and the civil servants, counselors and famous generals came out in large numbers. Although Nagato is a fan of Qin Shi Huang Yingzheng, but he loves the book Romance of the Three Kingdoms. He has read it several times in just a few days, and he has dark circles under his eyes. Although she hasn't seen it, she heard Nagato mention some characters. Among them are Wolong and Fengchu. When Nagato mentioned these two people, his tone was called admiration, and he kept saying, Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick, one can win the world. If I have the wisdom of these two people, I must have brought peace to the ninja world, and so on. It can be said that Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Absolute is a title that can compete with the god of the ninja world and the Shira of the ninja world. But looking at what Yu Chen wrote in the diary now, why does it seem like he is looking at derogatory words? Yi Kang doesn't know as much as Conan, but he can see the admiration between the lines. This made her panic, but she didn't know what to do for a while. Turn around and tell Jiraiya them that they have misunderstood, save some chakra? I'm afraid that Huang Quan and the others will directly take advantage of the loopholes. Yi Kang. Damn it, this guy just knows how to make sarcastic remarks while watching the show. Why doesn't he make a move? Yi Kang couldn't help making complaints in the group chat. At this time, Yu Chen's diary was updated again. Forget it. Let's do it. However, this is a rare opportunity. First help Ziyuan to activate. Well, let's call it Miko mode. Miko mode. What's that? Holding the copy of the diary in her hand all the time, Ziyuan, who used it as a talisman, was slightly stunned. At the same time, suspicion appeared in Kagayaji's eyes. She gave the priestess the power of align, this thing? At this moment, without knowing it, a brilliance appeared on Zhao Yuchen's sky eye lines. Distinguished heavenly gods. Nearly 100 meters away from Zhao Yuchen, Huang Quan was running the dark chakra in his body, preparing to speed up and escape. But suddenly, an idea came to his mind. The bell may have the power to hurt me, but the real danger is the witch. The witch's power to seal the evil has the greatest influence on me. Now that the witch Ziyuan has no one to protect, I can do it. Take the opportunity to finish her off. Even if I was seriously injured, with the help of the charm's power, I will recover soon. And once the witches are removed, no one in this world can threaten me. This silent appearance is natural and reasonable. Huang Quan didn't have the slightest doubt in his heart. He felt that this was the conclusion he reached after witty analysis. There was black air in his purple eyes. Ha ha ha, you've been tricked. Shouting at Yi Kang and the others, Huang Quan fell to the ground and suddenly put his hands on the ground. Boom. The entire ground vibrated, and purple light with an evil aura appeared in some cracks. The terracotta warriors who were being cleared changed their targets again and attacked Jiraiya and others one after another. Teeth through the teeth. Secretary, insect bite. White eyes. 8 trigrams are a revolving heaven. Meat bomb yo-yo. Inazuka Takitoshi, Hyuga Tokuma and Inoshika Cho all cast their arcane defenses. Their eyes became serious. After blocking this time, if Huang Quan could not be resolved, they would not have the strength to continue fighting. Not far away, Jiraiya and Gamabunta in Sage mode performed combined ninjutsu, blocked the combined ninjutsu of Huang Quan's 4 subordinates, and the eyeshadow on their faces receded in a breath, and the state of immortal martial arts was released. Because his own chakra is also consumed a lot, even if he can summon Shimura Fukasaku for help, he can no longer enter Sage mode now, otherwise there is a high probability of turning into a stone toad. This means that his combat strength has been greatly reduced. It seems that today may be desperate. Jiraiya's eyes showed determination. He became more and more determined that the ghost is the one that Toad Sage said would bring great changes to the ninja world and cause the 5 major kingdoms to perish. After all, Huang Quan, who only got a little power from the charm, is so strong. However, Huang Quan kept saying that he would lead his army of undead ghosts to establish a country, overthrow the 5 major countries and establish an immortal unified dynasty. Strength, identity, and goals can all be matched. That being the case, he decided to go all out. At this time, 2 black-purple energy tentacles broke through the ground, quickly piercing Ziyuan's face. Seeing this scene, Ziyuan's pupils shrank instinctively, and her mind went blank. Because Yi Kang was too far away, it was too late to help. The girls who saw this scene through the live broadcast subconsciously held their breath. Kagaya Ji shook her head even more, and said in the group chat, which, after all, I can't escape my fate. Before he could finish speaking, Kagaya suddenly got stuck, and his eyes were full of doubts. Because, the picture that everyone imagined that Ziyuan was pierced by Nangtu's arm did not appear. And it wasn't Yu Chen who appeared in time to save the person, but a purple light appeared in front of Ziyuan, emitting a dazzling light, as if the light dispelled the darkness, dissolving the purple energy tentacles. Ziyuan was so blessed that she suddenly thought of something. She burst into tears, and cried out with sobs, "Master, is it you?" Asters. The moment Ziyuan's voice fell, a voice seemed to pass through time and space, and came to her with purple light, resounding throughout the island. "I wanted you to live a stable life. Your power, passed down from generation to generation of witches, has become so strong that it can grow to a level far surpassing the charm, and the threat to this world is even more arrogant. I can't be by your side. I can't believe what you can do with such great power. So, I simply use this stone to seal your power. The power awakened by death is suppressed by the sacrifices of the villagers. I want you to live an ordinary life, but it seems wrong." Hearing this, Ziyuan burst into tears, and raised her hand to touch this mass of purple energy. "My lord." As soon as the screen changed, Ziyuan felt herself falling into a warm embrace. "That was the place where I felt the safest when I was a child, my mother's arms. Ziyuan, I'm really sorry. Not only does mother not have the strength to protect you, she can't even trust you. Do you hate me?" "No." Ziyuan opened her eyes, and Purple's eyes were filled with emotion. The mother is just doing her best to hope that she can be safe and safe. How could she blame a mother who had only modest wishes for herself? "Ziyuan, I like you the most, mother, boo." Following these words, Ziyuan felt a lock in her body open. In front of her is her mother, Maitreya, with loving and gentle eyes. Under her gaze, she gently taps the center of her brow. This is the true heritage of the Miko, not the fur and mere spells and dances from her childhood to university. Numerous experiences and memories emerged in her mind, which made her mentality grow rapidly. Shua. The purple light sphere dissipated, covering Ziyuan's whole body. With her eyes closed, her momentum and tone of voice became fierce. "This kind of power, I now know how to use it. This is a blessing from the goddess Izuki, and it is the power passed down from generation to generation by witches." Open. There was a sound that shook the entire island and even the surrounding islands. The waves rise, the fish and birds frighten, the clouds tremble in the sky, and the natural chakra riots. And surrounded by light, Ziyuan's body is suspended in the air, her beautiful long hair is spread out, the sides grow automatically without wind, and the clothes and pants on her body are turned into particles by chakra in an instant. Transforms into a form-fitting gold 2-piece maxi dress. Jingle. The bell thrown by Yi Kang to Huang Quan shook lightly, and suddenly crossed the space and floated above Ziyuan's head, and a power emerged from it, turning into a circle of light. Xian's face and some key parts of the body have special stripes, which are similar to the state of Senju Hashirama when he entered Sage Mode. At this moment, she appeared very sacred, majestic, and inviolable. At this moment, she is magnificent, with a superhuman temperament, like a goddess descending to earth. The girls who saw this scene swallowed their saliva with envious eyes. When Jiraiya and other men saw it, they had admiration, but they couldn't feel any blasphemy. The power to transcend time. The past of witches, childhood, are all in front of me. I already understand how to use this power. Ziyuan raised her hand, pointed it in Huang Quan's direction, and raised one hand, as if shooting an arrow. The light around her began to gather, and turned into an arrow in her hand, with a sharp edge. Looking at the tip of the arrow, Huang Quan felt a chill in his heart that spread throughout his body. "Will die. As long as this arrow pierces his body, he will die. Moreover, his soul, which has been half sacrificed to the demon and contaminated with dark and evil power, will also be completely purified. His name is Huang Quan, but he no longer has the qualifications to enter Huang Quan, and he completely dissipated between heaven and earth. Don't want. Huang Quan's smile was gone, and he began to be afraid. But Ziyuan no longer put him in his eyes, but used the power in his body as a medium to look at the evil spirit that was suppressed in the underground palace of the Kingdom of Ghosts. Please, leave this world forever. Ziyuan opened her mouth slowly, her eyes determined. If you do this, you can't really kill me, but just destroy this divine sense. Thousands of years later, I can still come back, and you have to pay for it with your life. Yan Mei's voice was ice cold, with anger and calmness, she explained a fact. What will happen thousands of years later will be left to human beings who will solve it thousands of years later. I just need to complete my mission. I will kill you to avoid the possibility of this world being swallowed by darkness. After saying that, Ziyuan was about to make a move. But before that, she glanced at the big tree in a certain direction. Now she, who can feel Yu Chen's chakra, knows where the dust is. In the end, there is no chance to even meet each other. With a trace of regret, Ziyuan was ready to act. But at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared beside her, grabbing her wrist with a snap. Don't use your strength indiscriminately, and don't think about desperately. With me here, there is no need. The sound of is very gentle, it sounds like you are massaging your ears. The sound is not heavy, but the undeniable taste in it brings a strong sense of security. Ziyuan subconsciously obeyed, but thinking of the horror of demons she had learned through the witches of the past, she still felt that it was best for her to sacrifice. She looked up at the speaker, a face she had seen several times in the diary. But looking at it up close, it is more perfect and charming, which makes her heart flutter. If you are disobedient, you will be beaten. The successful awakening of the formula is not to let you die. Yu Chen smiled lightly, and suddenly a force surged under him. Ziyuan's pupils shrank, because she found that this power was of the same origin as hers, but it was even bigger. This force flowed into her body along her wrist, allowing her to directly release the witch state. The purple arrow will disappear in an instant. Zhao Yu Chen brought Ziyuan down to the ground, and then formed a mudra with one hand. Shadow clone technique. Boom. A smoke appeared in the sky, and Yu Chen's shadow clone stood in the air. Witch mode. Open. Zhao Yu Chen clasped his hands together and let out a loud shout. In the next moment, countless purple rays of light appeared around his body, his clothes turned into a series of gold suits, and some special lines appeared on his body surface. The only difference between him and Ziyuan, perhaps, is that there is no bell or aperture. Scorch style. Dao Fu Tian Lian. Yu Chen's shadow clone raised a hand, and an orange-red energy fire lotus appeared on it. The surface was shrouded in purple light, exuding a sacred aura. Go. Yu Chen threw the fire lotus out casually. Boom. Everything happened between lightning and flint. But when everyone came back to their senses, the fire lotus had already exploded, turning into flames and purple light shockwaves. Jiraiya. Open Sage mode in seconds. Xian. Witch mode. Hakura. Scorch style can still play like this? Kagayaheim. This is obviously my strength, but I can still play like this. Female. Boom. After a while, the mountains shook. Accompanied by steam, a large pit with a depth of tens of meters and a diameter of more than 100 meters appeared. Thousands of terracotta warriors were affected and instantly turned into chakra particles, which completely disappeared and could not be reproduced. Huang Quan's 4 subordinates were not at the center of the explosion, but they were affected by the flames. When everything disappeared, they had turned into a lifeless mummy, looking eerie. Huang Quan himself was not affected by the explosion, but was shrouded in purple light. A certain power in his body dissipated, and his body shape changed from a young man to an old man, as if he was 40 years old all of a sudden. And Ino Shika Cho and others were all brought by a beam of light at the last moment, and when they reappeared, they were already on top of a super wooden big bird high in the sky. This is an enhanced and enlarged vermilion bird mechanism beast that Yu Chen learned from Karama Yakumo and drew himself. It is not a problem to be able to carry dozens of people at the same time. Flying Thunder God technique. Nara Luju breathed a sigh of relief and said, at the last moment, we were all taken away by Yu Chen with Flying Thunder God in an instant. I once heard that Master 4th Hokage solved dozens of Jonin in a flash. I thought it was a bit exaggerated. Now it seems that my eyesight is limited. Yu Degui said with emotion in a trembling voice. He is the youngest elite Jonin present, and he didn't have the chance to play more than 10 years ago. The record of Namikaze Minato only exists in rumors. The rumors that third Raikage fought alone with tens of thousands of ninjas in Rock Shinobi Village for 3 days and 3 nights, and finally died of exhaustion, he felt hydrated. These shadows may be powerful, such as 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato may be able to fight dozens or even hundreds of Jonin alone, and kill them all. But if he said that he could do it in an instant, he definitely didn't believe it, and felt that it was exaggerated. As for the deeds of the god of the ninja world and the Shura of the ninja world, they should be listened to as legendary stories. People always have a little idea of a frog in a well. But now, Hyuga Tokuma believed it. Because it took Yu Chen only a moment to save so many of them, and killing people is far easier than saving them. His mastery of the Flying Thunder God technique should not be under the door. Jiraiya's tone also revealed shock. And he also seems to be able to Sage Mode, and he can do it in seconds, and among the people I know, there is only one first Hokage. Master Jiraiya, how difficult is it to succeed in Sage Mode? Nara asked curiously. Speaking of it, the power of immortal art is well known, but few people can master it and display it. In Konoha, apart from first Hokage Senju Hashirama, Jiraiya is the first person. How difficult? Jiraiya's eyes flashed with reminiscence, and he laughed loudly. Don't think I'm boasting, but being able to practice Sage Mode is a real genius. Sage Mode, in essence, absorbs a certain amount of natural energy and combines it with its own chakra to create Shienju chakra. It is a state where natural energy can be used. It can use natural energy to enhance attack and defense, and at the same time increase physical attack. The range and perception have greatly improved the power of ninjutsu, body art, and illusion. But the first point alone can screen out more than 90% of the ninjas. Hearing this, Yamanaka Haichi, Hyuga Tokuma and others also cast curious eyes. First of all, practitioners must have a large amount of chakra, which is a level that most jonin cannot satisfy. Otherwise the practitioner will be swallowed by the power of nature and die directly. Hearing this, Nara Shirju and others immediately understood the difficulty of practicing Sage Mode. The amount of chakra is only one of the criteria to measure the strength of a ninja. Sometimes it can better represent physical talent. It is true to use geniuses. There are more than 100,000 ninjas in the entire ninja world, but there are not thousands of jonin. In other words, there may be less than 100 people in the entire ninja world who can meet the basic requirements for practicing Sage Mode. Secondly, you need to have the talent to feel the energy of nature. This talent can filter out part of it. Orochimaru can't do it. Then you need to know how to absorb the natural chakra. This is even more difficult to learn than the forbidden technique, and rare. Orochimaru in Ryuchi Cave didn't learn anything. Finally, you must have the perseverance to never give up, because the essence of Shienju chakra is to balance the spiritual energy and physical energy, and then add natural energy on this basis to achieve a new balance. This process is the most difficult. If the natural energy is too low, you can't learn the fairy art chakra. If it is too much, there will be side effects due to differences in cultivation methods. For example, I learned this ninjutsu at Mount Myoboku of the summoning beast toad family. Once I absorb too much natural energy, it will turn into a toad, and if it is serious, it will become petrified. In Mount Myoboku, dozens of them have turned into stone frogs because they failed to practice Sage Mode. As far as I know, 3 of them have reached cage-level strength. Hiss. Nara Luju and the others gasped. Those who have reached cage-level strength have all failed, which shows the difficulty. With all these conditions screened out, it's no wonder that there are very few people in the ninja world who know how to perform immortal arts. Nara Shika couldn't help but think of what Sarutobi Hiruzen had said to him during the chat, saying that Jiraiya has surpassed Tsunade and Orochimaru and became the most powerful person in Konoha. At that time, he was still skeptical. After all, Tsunade was from the Senju clan, and his grandmother was from the Uzumaki clan. He has the family background of the 2 clans, so it should not be underestimated. Orochimaru is always so unfathomable, good at researching various forbidden techniques. Now it seems that Jiraiya, who has mastered Sage Mode, is indeed more than the other 2 in terms of hard power. And this is just the common mastery of Sage Mode. Jiraiya continued. You have also seen these days, every time before turning on Sage Mode, I need a lot of time to accumulate natural energy, my body cannot move, or I need 2 toads my lord, help me turn on Sage Mode, this is the weakness and flaw. And every time I turn on Sage Mode, it lasts only a few minutes, not long. It is reasonable to say that Jiraiya should not disclose this important information to others. As a ninja, intelligence is life. But in the past 7 days, he has turned on Sage Mode more than once in front of Nara Shirju and others. As long as they are not stupid, they can figure out his situation, so there is no need to hide it. But Mr. First Hokage, you can enter Sage Mode instantly, and it will last for more than an hour. In addition to this, changes in physical characteristics can indicate a person's mastery of immortal arts. The smaller the change, the stronger the mastery. Yu Chen is now in Sage Mode in seconds, and his body design has not changed at all, which shows how strong he is. Combined with Shuiji's boundary, his strength is already above mine. Jiraiya sighed inwardly. This is talent. Xianglin. Oh my god, Yu Chen big brother is too good. While Jiraiya was teaching Naruto and others, Tsunade was also teaching people in the group. As the granddaughter of First Hokage, she has much more theoretical understanding of Sage Mode than Jiraiya. By Wooden Golem. Second open Sage Mode, how did Mr. Yu Chen do it? Tamari. That's right, didn't he say in his diary that he couldn't use Sage Mode? Black Soil. Could it be the diary reward this morning? Terumi Mei. If this is the case, Yu Chen will definitely poo ha ha at the first time, and then write it in the diary. Ino. What a puff haha, it's very thorough, and I have pictures. Conan. Not long ago, Mr. Yu Chen's shadow clone disappeared. As far as I know, he asked First Hokage about Sage Mode for these few shadow clone. Tsunade. Looking at the texture of the body surface, the Sage Mode used by Yu Chen is indeed the same as that of Grandpa. Samui. So, Yu Chen just listened to First Hokage explain the trick, and he will use it. Kagaya. It's normal. Yu Chen now has the inferior Otsutsuki constitution that has been developed to the top level. Feeling natural energy is like a fish feeling water. Turning on Sage Mode is just a sip of water for him, and the so-called method it is the mouth. He can float in midair now, which is also a kind of use of natural energy. Makoto. It's a metaphor of a good image, and I can understand it right away. Tsunade. No. Why can't I fly? Kagaya. The reincarnation of Ashura possesses the Yang attribute chakra with the power of 6 paths, completely suppresses the Yin attribute chakra, and has some spiritual defects. Tsunade. Is this the same as saying that my great-grandfather has no brains, no intelligence and talent? I don't need to ask myself. Ju Yukina. Sister Kagaya is worthy of being the ancestor of chakra, she is really knowledgeable. Makoto. I have been taught, I believe more and more that you treat us as your own. Hinata. Thank you, Sister Kagaya, for your clarification. Ino. I propose that my sister be the big sister of all of us. Tsunade. Hey, when you wanted to learn 100 healings mark, you. Well, I think you are right. By Wooden Golem. What the hell are Konoha and these women doing? Asked by Wooden Golem to Samui. Calm. Saying something habitually, Samuel looked heavily at the group chat page. Looking at Tsunade's words, she felt a flash of light in her mind. However, someone was more responsive than her. Kagaya. Kagaya. Even if you say so, love the body will not give you the corresponding model. Sure enough. Samuel pursed his lips. Wooden Golem was stunned for a moment, and then said very angrily. These women are really shameless, they flattered Kagaya because of Shien's special state. Samui. You have the guts to say this, why don't you have the guts to show envy? Makoto. Kagaya don't be so absolute about some things. Xianglin. It's all about my sisters raising their hands, why don't you help us? Ino. Yes, you can give it to strangers, can't we? The weakened version is also good. Terumi Mei. Let me be fair, you can't force Sister Kagaya, you can't make her pay unilaterally, you can't go whoring for nothing, but learn to repay, such as me, Sister Kagaya I can massage, do you think it is necessary? By Wooden Golem. Ming, I am you. Sam Yi. Don't talk nonsense, just say whether you want it or not. By Wooden Golem. Think. Kagaya. Interesting, you guys are so cute, to be honest, I really want to reward you. Kagaya. It's a pity, even the concubine herself doesn't know how Ziyuan appeared in this state. The girls. How is that possible? Kagaya shook his head slightly. She is envious of this state, okay. Yu Rihong. How is it possible, you gave the witches the power of a branch, you don't know? Uyue Xian. I don't doubt your words, and you probably don't bother to lie to us, but it doesn't make sense logically. Anko. Yes, isn't that your strength? Kagaya. It is indeed the power of the concubine, but it should have changed in the past thousands of years. Kagaya. A very simple question. As you said, the constitution of the witches is special, but to me, they are just strangers. Is it worth giving them such powerful power? Hearing this, all the girls were taken aback. Indeed, according to Kagayaji's conceited and arrogant character, human beings were once just low-level creatures in her eyes. Even if the lineage of the witch is useful to her, it is for her to use. It is impossible for her to give such a detached and powerful power. Black soil. Didn't you say that the demon is very strong? Maybe it needs the witch's lineage to be strong enough to suppress the demon. Kagaya. Suppression. For the concubine at that time, why did she think of giving her power to mere human beings to suppress Chime? Too lazy or stupid. Kagaya. The concubine tells you that unless there is no other way, it is impossible for the concubine to make such a decision. Kagaya. To tell the truth, I planted a sacred tree on this continent, relying on the fruit to become the ancestor of chakra, and has invincible power in this world. It is only because of the strange power of the evil spirit that it cannot be completely wiped out. I can only choose to seal it, and the mission of the Miko lineage is to guard the seal and reinforce it with life when necessary. Kagaya. It is impossible for the concubines to give them enough power to suppress the evil spirits. The pair of concubines are also full of risks, and you have heard what Ziyuan's mother said just now. Ziyuan's talent is strong enough to surpass the evil spirits and become this. The world is a bigger threat, and as a mother, she doesn't trust herself as a woman. Wei Yoruichi's words went straight to the heart of the matter. Even the mother is afraid of her daughter's strength, for fear that her daughter will become a threat to the world due to no one to teach her, so she finally chooses to seal her daughter's talent and strength. Trust the facts of your daughter. Then Kagaya, how could it be possible to give such power to a stranger? Makoto. Then what is going on with Xian? Ju Zuna. Probably only Yu Chen knows all the information. Shizune. That's not necessarily the case. Samui. Sister Kagaya. What is the power you give to the witches? Kagaya. Want to analyze the answer by yourself? Then the concubine satisfies your curiosity. That is the power of the light attribute chakra. Light attribute chakra. A completely unfamiliar vocabulary made all the girls startled. Fragrant phosphorus. Is it the limit of blood successor? Kagaya. Boundary of blood successor. You can understand it this way. After all, this power has been passed down from generation to generation in the witches, and it is indeed hidden in the genes. It is very similar to the limit of blood successor, you understand. Kagaya. Forget it, let me give you some popular science. The so-called ninjutsu, genjutsu, physical jutsu, blood succession limit, special constitution, etc., are all terms formulated by Yuya for you humans after establishing the ninja sect, for the convenience of understanding. Kagaya. To put it simply, a concubine knows all addition, subtraction, multiplication and division within 10 digits as soon as she is born, but you have to learn from 1 plus 1, but the essence is comprehensive and in-depth. Kagaya. The so-called basic chakra attributes are fire, wind, thunder, water, earth, yin, and yang. Naturally, it was proposed by the ninja sect, because these 7 attributes of chakra are more likely to be inherited and dominant by genetic records, and they exist in the world. Inside most ninjas. Kagaya. As for the addition of the 2 attributes, chakra can form a new attribute chakra, such as the wood-style attribute chakra. You call it the blood inheritance boundary. In fact, the human body itself has a recessive gene. Relying on its self-practice makes it manifest. Kagaya. In essence, there is no difference between chakra of wood attribute and chakra of earth, wind, and thunder. They are both a single attribute chakra power derived from the sacred tree. Kagaya. Now you also know that the source of chakra is the sacred tree. Before I came to this planet had its own cultivation method. In fact, there are countless cultivation methods in the entire universe, and the essence is to absorb natural energy to strengthen itself. Kagaya. It's just that our Otsutsuki family planted 10 tails, let the sacred tree absorb natural energy and bear fruit, and we swallowed the pill refined from the fruit to make ourselves stronger. I heard that our ancestors called it 10 tails Waden method. Kagaya. Those of you who refine the chakra in your body are essentially relying on the strength of the concubine to become stronger, which can be counted as part of the strength of the concubine. Kagaya. Only those ninjas who can get in touch with natural energy can jump out of the confinement set by the concubine, but they are still within the framework of the concubine, because the sacred tree can devour them, deprive them of their power, and turn them into self-growth feed. Kagaya. As long as you practice chakra, you are all speeding up the gestation of 10 tails and helping concubines become stronger, that's all. Shock, deep shock. The girls were enlightened by Kaguya's popular science, like a frog jumping out of a well to see a wider sky, feeling shocked, confused, and even have an urge to escape. It turns out that not only is the nine-tailed beasts, anyone who refines chakra and walks the path of ninjas is the nourishment that 10 tails can devour by touching it, and anyone who relies on natural energy to become stronger can become the ration of 10 tails. As a chakra attribute, blood succession limit, ninjutsu system, etc., are just subdivisions of ninja sects, so that humans can understand and learn. The ancestor of chakra, this is really more than just a title. Otsutsuki Kagaya is the source of power that was born on this planet's ninja world. Various attributes of chakra, the difficulty of genetic inheritance is different, but they are not really combined, and there is no difference for Kagaya. Terumi Mei. So, there is no difference between my lava style, boil style, and water style, fire style, wind style, but it is more difficult to genetically inherit and is invisible, but it was successfully activated when I tried. Kagaya G. In theory, all chakra attributes have no distinction between high and low, but your application methods will bring different effects. Samui. It is true that water can overcome fire, but fire can also dry up water. Using water-style ninjutsu at the water's edge will get twice the result with half the effort. The same is true when standing in the wind and using wind style. Ninjutsu and terrain environment can affect the power. There is no absolute. By Wooden Golem. That's right. How many blood successors dare to resist in my fire style? Tien. Let's not talk about the off-topic, I think my head is a little overloaded. Tien. Sister Kagaya G, so according to what you mean, you only give the maiden a line of light attribute chakra, the limit of blood succession, right? Kagaya G. That's right, as long as each generation of witches enshrines me, they can master this power. With special spells, the seal can be strengthened, but that's all. Kagaya G. As for foreseeing death, it is just some sweetness and self-protection ability given to them by the concubines. Kagaya G. To be honest, the concubine has been sealed for thousands of years, and the lineage of witches has not been broken, and the concubine also finds it inconceivable. Tsunade. It seems that everything is because of that bell. All the girls started guessing. But at this time, right at the center of the explosion, Yi Kang's body began to condense again, with a look of displeasure on his face. Although she is the body of impure world reincarnation, she doesn't even feel pain, and it's okay to be blown up. But say hello anyway, right? This feeling of being killed by Scorch style is quite uncomfortable. And this group of women only know how to discuss the witch model, and don't care about her. Angry. Mr. Yu Chen. Yi Kang turned to look at Zhao Yu Chen, smiled and said, "You don't want to blow me up too, do you?" Zhao Yu Chen glanced at her, and said calmly, "If I want to, I can do it, and make you disappear completely like those terracotta warriors." Hearing this, Yi Kang shuddered, and said in surprise, "What kind of power do you have, that you can do this to such a degree?" Light attribute chakra, just restrains dark chakra. Zhao Yu Chen didn't hide anything. Light attribute chakra, blood succession boundary? You can understand it that way. Light attribute chakra, can you have this special mode? This mode is due to the combination of light attribute chakra and sage mode. Oh, I see. Yi Kang nodded in understanding, and at the same time put a thought into the diary. Yi Kang. It's a combination of light attribute chakra and sage mode. It took you a long time to analyze and summarize. Why don't I just ask Mr. Yu Chen directly? Female. What fellow Taoist? I don't understand. Zhao Yu Chen opened his mouth as usual. But his appearance fell into the eyes of Chi Mei, that is, there is no silver 300 taels here. Are you still pretending to me? A charming and cold voice sounded in the surrounding darkness. The smell of Yanwang in your soul, burnt to ashes, I can also recognize it. You must have been exiled from Shunzhou by the Xuanmi family. Why are you in the foreign land in my nest? Although the Otsutsuki family practiced heresy, the 10 taels Waden method also has merits. I see that you have reached a certain level of depth. Why don't you and I cooperate? Hiss. Zhao Yu Chen was shocked in his heart, but pretended to be thinking about it on the surface. For some reason, he suddenly felt a great terror coming in his heart, so he reminded himself not to think too much. Instinctively, he took out the diary and immersed his thoughts in it. Immediately, all the uneasiness began to dissipate. Li Liyuan on the score. So in this world, what kind of hammer trash is Insutsuki? Kagaya G. No, aren't you cursing my old lady around the corner? Otsutsuki. What's wrong with you? I'm about to be scolded by you all of a sudden. Chi Mei really brought me a big surprise for. Chi Mei, that outer god. Did he say something to you, Chen? Kagaya fell into deep thought immediately. To be honest, it was not like she had no chance to get rid of Mei Mei back then. But for some reason, she had a premonition that getting rid of the charm would be liquidated by a force. To be on the safe side, she chose to seal Chi Mei. Could it be that this outer god knows about outer territory secrets? Xuanmi, if I remember correctly, it should be the 9 mysterious heaven girl, referred to as Zan Nv, the 9 mysterious heaven Yangyuan girl, the holy mother of the 9 mysterious heaven, the great emperor Xuanmi, is the god of war, the teacher of the yellow emperor, Gao the first order female fairy and the god of magic number, the god of righteousness. Kaguya, the goddess of Azuki, is not qualified to be a maid for Zan Nv, no, she is not qualified to be a maid for her maid's maid. Asterisk. To translate, she is the dignified ancestor of Chakra, the goddess of Uyue, and she is an aunt in front of the mysterious girl. She doesn't even have the qualifications to carry the other party's shoes? Female. The amount of information is too much, apart from shock, I don't want to talk. Could it be that there is still information related to Kyushu in this world? When Mei mentioned Yanwang, it should be possible to be sure that somewhere in this universe, there is my lineage of the great Kyushu. This is not impossible at all. The cultivation method of the Otsutsuki family is very similar to my Taoist outer alchemy method, except that there is an extra 10 tails as an external force, which has merits. From this point of view, this world is not really created by Kishimoto, he is just a writer under the power of the underworld. It is not a coincidence that there are gold horns, silver horns, and various magical arts. Natural energy, is it spiritual energy? Directly using natural energy to practice is cultivating immortals. Cultivating chakra is obviously working for the Otsutsuki clan, so my induction is correct. Performing magic is directly using natural energy. Ha ha ha, interesting, really interesting. I still have a lot of guesses, but it is not appropriate to think too much for the time being. At least before the strength surpasses Kaguya, it doesn't make any sense to think about these. Interesting. At Makoto. Kaguya Haim, what do you think? Kaguya G. The concubine sits and watches. Ju Zuna, sure enough, she's crazy, she's even joking. Kaguya. Is it because I give you too much face today? Kaguya. Let me tell you, the 6 Paths class is a fairy and a god to the common people. Mastering the yin-yang escape technique is a sign of the 6 Paths class, and it can be understood as having fairy eyes or a sage body if it is not rigorous. On top of this is the power of mastering the wedge, which can seize reincarnation and reincarnation, continue to live out of oneself or eventually die. On top of the wedge is the power of Shui Ji Luo, which is actually based on yin and yang, controlling the power of everything. After that, it is continuous evolution, and finally detachment before becoming a god. Kaguya. The concubine, the goddess of Azuki, is a false god, and she is not worthy of being a maid for the god Otsutsuki in terms of personality. As for the higher realm, even the concubine can contact now. And that Zan Nv is at least a true god who can be compared with the Otsutsuki god, and may even surpass it. Being a concubine is really nothing. Is Kaguya crazy or underestimated? On the contrary, she was born in the Otsutsuki clan. Although she looked down on the aborigines on this planet, she didn't feel that she was invincible, or that the Otsutsuki clan was invincible. If Otsutsuki were invincible, there would be no cosmic wars, and she would not be where she is now. If she is invincible, she will not be sealed, and she is afraid that the Otsutsuki clan will find her. Her arrogance is aimed at the weak, but it doesn't mean she is a frog in a well. Hinata. I suddenly understood the words of Yu Chen big brother. If I know too much, it will only affect myself. Xianglin. Brother Yu Chen doesn't even want to write more in the diary, let's not aim too high. Terumi Mei. We don't even know how far we are from the 6 Paths class. It's really too early to think about this now. Tsunade. It's gone, it's gone. Yu Chen's record will inevitably leave a mark in the hearts of all the girls. But they are all sensible, and they don't want to touch it now. It is not advisable to be a frog at the bottom of a well, and it is even less advisable to be a frog that wants to fly in the sky after jumping out of the well. And this idea is also Zhao Yu Chen's daughter-in-law at this time. Knowing too much is not a good thing sometimes. Wait until that level to be qualified to understand. Withdrawing his thoughts from the diary, Zhao Yu Chen resolutely extinguished all those thoughts, and then made a gesture of shooting an arrow in the direction of the demon. In any case, I still ask you to sleep well for a while. When I am strong enough, I will talk to you in detail. As the voice fell, an arrow made of light attribute chakra and driving the fairy chakra shot out. Dingling. This arrow hit the bell carried by Ziyuan, and the next moment it seemed to pass through space, appearing in the palace below the Kingdom of Ghosts, and landed on an altar. Boom. Numerous purple rays of light bloomed from the surface of the altar, illuminating the entire underground palace. The enchanting aura was quickly suppressed and dissipated, and finally all returned to a temple covered with charms on the door. This seat remembers you. With a bit of exasperation, Yao Mei's consciousness fell into a deep sleep on the ground. It's best to remember, when I come to you, you can directly answer all the questions I'm curious about. Zhao Yuchen smiled indifferently, his eyes fixed on what he hadn't done before. This time, he easily entered Huang Quan's memory, knew his past and all his secrets, and mastered all his knowledge and experience. And after that, he has no reason to live anymore. Want to rule the world? The idea is a good idea, but it is unrighteous to seek a tiger's skin. I hope you will be a little self-aware in your next life. Zhao Yuchen's consciousness returned to his body, and he threw out a fire lotus casually. The fire lotus wrapped Huang Quan's body and scattered it into particles, taking Huang Quan's soul with him. If he could still speak now, he would definitely question Yuchen. Agreed that in the next life. Why did you make me lose my mind? Unfortunately, he can only witness his own death. Seniors, I haven't seen you for a few days, you are a little embarrassed. Zhao Yuchen looked to his side and greeted him enthusiastically. Jiraiya, Yamanaka and others have been brought down to the ground by the vermilion bird mechanism beast. It's nothing to be embarrassed, it's good if you don't die. Naralu Ju shook his head with a few smiles. If Yuchen hadn't arrived in time, even if Ziyuan could get rid of Huang Quan, one of them would count as one, and they would all have to be accounted for here. It can be said that they all have the grace of saving their lives. Yuchen, did you get rid of the demon? Jiraiya asked with a serious expression. Get rid of it. Can't get rid of it. Zhao Yuchen shook his head and said, the evil spirit exists as a carrier of the evil power bred in the human heart, and it cannot be wiped out in a meaningful sense, at least I can't do it now. It turned out to be like this. Jiraiya said in a deep voice. No wonder it will become a catastrophe for the entire ninja world. It seems that my next task is to find a way to completely kill the demon. Hearing this, Zhao Yuchen raised his eyebrows. Ninja catastrophe? This statement is not bad. But how would Jiraiya know such a thing? And he's not the type to take the initiative to care about such things. Thinking of this, he asked suspiciously. Why are you so obsessed with killing the demon? Because he is a guest from another world who will destroy the ninja world and the 5 great nations in the language of Great Toad Sage. Jiraiya didn't hide anything, and told the truth directly. For Yuchen, if he does not stand on the standpoint of Sarutobi Hiruzen, he will not have the slightest dissatisfaction and opposition. Now, after knowing some of Sarutobi Hiruzen's deeds, after Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, he is still very happy that Konoha has a talent like Yuchen, and he is happy that Tsunade has such a Hokage assistant. Not to mention that Zhao Yuchen has the grace to save his life now. He felt that there was no need to hide some things. Toad Sage. Visitors from another world will make the 5 great countries disappear. Zhao Yuchen's expression became weird. He knew that Chi Mei would be sealed by Xian and Naruto in the original trajectory. In other words, the demon will not be a visitor from another world that caused the destruction of the 5 great nations. Speaking of aliens, the toad spirit is a little Taoist. It should be seeing the future after being influenced by me, that is to say, it should be me, but Jiraiya regarded it as a demon. In this way, the world government will indeed be established in the future. World government. All the girls suddenly widened their eyes. Not surprisingly, Zhao Chen is about to reveal his future plans. What fellow Taoist? I don't understand. Zhao Yuchen opened his mouth as usual. But his appearance fell into the eyes of Chi Mei, that is, there is no silver 300 taels here. Are you still pretending to me? A charming and cold voice sounded in the surrounding darkness. The smell of Yanwang in your soul, burnt to ashes, I can also recognize it. You must have been exiled from Shunzhou by the Xuanmi family. Why are you in the foreign land in my nest? Although the Otsutsuki family practiced heresy, the 10 taels Waden method also has merits. I see that you have reached a certain level of depth, why don't you and I cooperate? Hiss. Zhao Yuchen was shocked in his heart, but pretended to be thinking about it on the surface. For some reason, he suddenly felt a great terror coming in his heart, so he reminded himself not to think too much. Instinctively, he took out the diary and immersed his thoughts in it. Immediately, all the uneasiness began to dissipate. Li Liyuan on the score. So in this world, What kind of hammer trash is Insatsuki? Kagaya G. No, aren't you cursing my old lady around the corner? Otsutsuki. What's wrong with you? I'm about to be scolded by you all of a sudden. Chimei really brought me a big surprise. Chimei, that outer god. Did he say something to you, Chen? Kagaya fell into deep thought immediately. To be honest, it was not like she had no chance to get rid of Mei Mei back then. But for some reason, she had a premonition that getting rid of the charm would be liquidated by a force. To be on the safe side, she chose to seal Chimei. Could it be that this outer god knows about outer territory secrets? Xuanmi, if I remember correctly, it should be the 9 mysterious heaven girl, referred to as Zan Nv, the 9 mysterious heaven Yangyuan girl, the holy mother of the 9 mysterious heaven, the great emperor Xuanmi, is the god of war, the teacher of the yellow emperor, Gao the first order female fairy and the god of magic number, the god of righteousness. Kagaya, the goddess of Azuki, is not qualified to be a maid for Zan Nv, no, she is not qualified to be a maid for her maid's maid. To translate, she is the dignified ancestor of Chakra, the goddess of Uyue, and she is an ant in front of the mysterious girl. She doesn't even have the qualifications to carry the other party's shoes? Female. The amount of information is too much, apart from shock, I don't want to talk. Could it be that there is still information related to Kyushu in this world? When Mei mentioned Yanwang, it should be possible to be sure that somewhere in this universe, there is my lineage of the great Kyushu. This is not impossible at all. The cultivation method of the Otsutsuki family is very similar to my Taoist outer alchemy method, except that there is an extra 10 tails as an external force, which has merits. From this point of view, this world is not really created by Kishimoto, he is just a writer under the power of the underworld. It is not a coincidence that there are gold horns, silver horns, and various magical arts. Natural energy, is it spiritual energy? Directly using natural energy to practice is cultivating immortals. Cultivating chakra is obviously working for the Otsutsuki clan, so my induction is correct. Performing magic is directly using natural energy. Ha ha ha, interesting, really interesting. I still have a lot of guesses, but it is not appropriate to think too much for the time being. At least before the strength surpasses Kagaya, it doesn't make any sense to think about these. Interesting. Makoto. Kagaya Heim, what do you think? Kagaya G. The concubine sits and watches. Ju Zuna. Sure enough, she's crazy, she's even joking. Kagaya. Is it because I give you too much face today? Kagaya. Let me tell you, the 6 Paths class is a fairy and a god to the common people. Mastering the yin-yang escape technique is a sign of the 6 Paths class, and it can be understood as having fairy eyes or a sage body if it is not rigorous. On top of this is the power of mastering the wedge, which can seize reincarnation and reincarnation, continue to live out of oneself or eventually die. On top of the wedge is the power of Shui Ji Luo, which is actually based on yin and yang, controlling the power of everything. After that, it is continuous evolution, and finally detachment before becoming a god. Kagaya. The concubine, the goddess of Azuki, is a false god, and she is not worthy of being a maid for the god Otsutsuki in terms of personality. As for the higher realm, even the concubine can contact now. And that Zan Nv is at least a true god who can be compared with the Otsutsuki god, and may even surpass it. Being a concubine is really nothing. Is Kagaya crazy or underestimated? On the contrary, she was born in the Otsutsuki clan. Although she looked down on the aborigines on this planet, she didn't feel that she was invincible, or that the Otsutsuki clan was invincible. If Otsutsuki were invincible, there would be no cosmic wars, and she would not be where she is now. If she is invincible, she will not be sealed, and she is afraid that the Otsutsuki clan will find her. Her arrogance is aimed at the weak, but it doesn't mean she is a frog in a well. Hinata. I suddenly understood the words of Yu Chen big brother. If I know too much, it will only affect myself. Xianglin. Brother Yu Chen doesn't even want to write more in the diary, let's not aim too high. Terumi Mei. We don't even know how far we are from the 6 Paths class. It's really too early to think about this now. Tsunade. It's gone, it's gone. Yu Chen's record will inevitably leave a mark in the hearts of all the girls. But they are all sensible, and they don't want to touch it now. It is not advisable to be a frog at the bottom of a well, and it is even less advisable to be a frog that wants to fly in the sky after jumping out of the well. And this idea is also Zhao Yu Chen's daughter-in-law at this time. Knowing too much is not a good thing sometimes. Wait until that level to be qualified to understand. Withdrawing his thoughts from the diary, Zhao Yuchen resolutely extinguished all those thoughts, and then made a gesture of shooting an arrow in the direction of the demon. In any case, I still ask you to sleep well for a while. When I am strong enough, I will talk to you in detail. As the voice fell, an arrow made of light attribute chakra and driving the fairy chakra shot out. Dingling. This arrow hit the bell carried by Ziyuan, and the next moment it seemed to pass through space, appearing in the palace below the kingdom of ghosts, and landed on an altar. Boom. Numerous purple rays of light bloomed from the surface of the altar, illuminating the entire underground palace. The enchanting aura was quickly suppressed and dissipated, and finally all returned to a temple covered with charms on the door. This seat remembers you. With a bit of exasperation, Yao Mei's consciousness fell into a deep sleep on the ground. It's best to remember, when I come to you, you can directly answer all the questions I'm curious about. Zhao Yuchen smiled indifferently, his eyes fixed on what he hadn't done before. This time, he easily entered Huang Quan's memory, knew his past and all his secrets, and mastered all his knowledge and experience. And after that, he has no reason to live anymore. Want to rule the world? The idea is a good idea, but it is unrighteous to seek a tiger's skin. I hope you will be a little self-aware in your next life. Zhao Yuchen's consciousness returned to his body, and he threw out a fire lotus casually. The fire lotus wrapped Huang Quan's body and scattered it into particles, taking Huang Quan's soul with him. If he could still speak now, he would definitely question Yuchen. Agreed that in the next life, why did you make me lose my mind? Unfortunately, he can only witness his own death. Seniors, I haven't seen you for a few days, you are a little embarrassed. Zhao Yuchen looked to his side and greeted him enthusiastically. Jiraiya, Yamanaka and others have been brought down to the ground by the vermilion bird mechanism beast. It's nothing to be embarrassed, it's good if you don't die. Naralu Ju shook his head with a few smiles. If Yuchen hadn't arrived in time, even if Ziyuan could get rid of Huang Quan, one of them would count as one, and they would all have to be accounted for here. It can be said that they all have the grace of saving their lives. Yuchen, did you get rid of the demon? Jiraiya asked with a serious expression. Get rid of it. Can't get rid of it. Zhao Yuchen shook his head and said, the evil spirit exists as a carrier of the evil power bred in the human heart, and it cannot be wiped out in a meaningful sense, at least I can't do it now. It turned out to be like this. Jiraiya said in a deep voice, no wonder it will become a catastrophe for the entire ninja world. It seems that my next task is to find a way to completely kill the demon. Hearing this, Zhao Yuchen raised his eyebrows. Ninja catastrophe? This statement is not bad. But how would Jiraiya know such a thing? And he's not the type to take the initiative to care about such things. Thinking of this, he asked suspiciously, why are you so obsessed with killing the demon? Because he is a guest from another world who will destroy the ninja world in the 5 great nations in the language of Great Toad Sage. Jiraiya didn't hide anything, and told the truth directly. For Yuchen, if he does not stand on the standpoint of Sarutobi Hiruzen, he will not have the slightest dissatisfaction and opposition. Now, after knowing some of Sarutobi Hiruzen's deeds, after Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, he is still very happy that Konoha has a talent like Yuchen, and he is happy that Tsunade has such a Hokage assistant. Not to mention that Zhao Yuchen has the grace to save his life now. He felt that there was no need to hide some things. Toad Sage. Visitors from another world will make the 5 great countries disappear. Zhao Yuchen's expression became weird. He knew that Chi Mei would be sealed by Xian and Naruto in the original trajectory. In other words, the demon will not be a visitor from another world that caused the destruction of the 5 great nations. Speaking of aliens, the toad spirit is a little Taoist. It should be seeing the future after being influenced by me, that is to say, it should be me, but Jiraiya regarded it as a demon. In this way, the world government will indeed be established in the future. World government. All the girls suddenly widened their eyes. Not surprisingly, Zhao Chen is about to reveal his future plans. I'm really smart, and I can deduce that my future plan has succeeded. Then I just need to be unswerving to implement it. However, the toad essence of Mount Myoboku needs to be dealt with. My family, its heart must be different. Zhao Yuchen casually wrote something down in his diary. Countless people can testify to him that he is definitely not a person who holds grudges in his heart. But it was recorded in the diary. If he accidentally came back to see it sometime in the future, it would be normal for him to do something again. Right? So that's how it is. Zhao Yuchen's eyes flashed, and he smiled at Jiraiya and said, I've heard a saying that people who are not my race must have a different heart. I signed the summoning beast contract of Ryuchi Cave through Anko, and I believed this even more, because 10,000 snakes asked me for sacrifices as soon as they appeared, and said that every time Orochimaru asked him to make a move, he would prepare hundreds of living people for it to eat. This made me laugh outright. How can I not take human life seriously like Orochimaru? I just killed the snake and used the body to feed wild beasts. I didn't expect that these toads on Mount Myoboku are so kind. They actually care about the entire ninja world, the war between the 5 major countries, and the life and death of our human beings. This is better than some humans. I will definitely visit this toad sage when I have the opportunity. As he said that, Zhao Yuchen showed a sad expression. Non my family, its heart must be different. Including Jiraiya, the expressions of everyone present became subtle because of Yu's words. A simple sentence can summarize the essence of many things in this world. Because of differences in interests, ideas, ideals, and pursuits, there are calculations and struggles among people, between ninjas and ninjas, between major countries and major hidden villages. As for aliens, as Yuchen said, summoning snakes eat humans, which shows their bad character. The deer of the Nara clan, the dog of the Inuzuka clan, and the people of the 2 clans are cooperative relations. In a word, profit is eternal. Then, why are the toads, who are not of the same race as humans, worrying so much about the ninja world? For a while, everyone thought of a lot, especially Nara Shirju and Yamanaka Haichi. The former had a high IQ, and the latter was good at insight into people's hearts. They immediately felt that Toad Sage's behavior of giving to mankind so selflessly and for nothing was weird. The two looked at each other and had already made up their minds to remind Jiraiya privately. But don't be used as a gunman unknowingly, and still thank others. At this time, the women holding the diary were quite depressed. Black soil. Then, is there no after? Tamari. I also want to know what is going on with the world government, please elaborate. From Wooden Golem. Hey, this will not be known that we can see the diary, deliberately hanging the appetite? Yi Kang. Don't say such things. If Mr. Yu Chen knew that the diary would be seen, would he mention the matter of Zon Envy? Conan. I know you are very curious, but there is no need to doubt this. Yu Chen has made up too much of his own brain, and he no longer doubts the existence of the diary. Samui. I just want to say, the underwear is half undone, you tell me that's it? Terumi Mei. Do you really want an eloquent debate? Ju Xingna. Great, great, now everyone is so good at speaking pornographically. Sam Yi. What yellow accent? I'm telling the truth with pictures. It's not a picture with colors, but just 2 volcanoes covered by heavy snow side by side. The volcano seems to be about to erupt again. There are red fireworks around the top, but the specific situation cannot be seen. Makoto. 6. By Wooden Golem. Samui, I didn't expect you to be such a Samui. Who would have thought that the seemingly calm Samuel would do such a thing? Deception is indeed a woman's natural skill. Samui. Speaking of it, it might be because the food in Konoha is so good, the size of my 2 summoning beast bears has grown accordingly, and the original clothes can no longer fit. It's not that I have bad habits. Female. If you are so angry, you will die from drought, and you will die from waterlogging. Daily question Tsunade G, when will 100 healings mark be promoted? Tsunade. Then you can thank us Konoha, cut, Hinata. So, sisters bring it again? In the future, the potential stocks certified by Yu Chen will secretly go online to express their sense of existence. All the girls became more and more depressed, but they couldn't show it well. Anko. I think Mr. Yu Chen said a lot in this sentence. If you are not of my race, your heart must be different. 99 out of 10 summoning snakes are not afraid of being looked at by humans. Karama Yukumo, at that time, I will teach that toad spirit a lesson for my husband. Tsunade. Jiraiya, this guy, doesn't even know that he is being treated as a tool person. I have to click him sometime. Terumi Mei. So, it's not about the world government? Are you all in a hurry? Yi Kang. Haven't you noticed yet? Those who are anxious are all from other hidden villages, and those who are not in a hurry to chat are all from Konoha. Tsunade. No way, after all, Konoha is inherently invincible. By Wooden Golem. That's not necessarily the case. Maybe Mr. Yu Chen likes the feeling of being the best. Why choose our Cloud Shinobi village? Ju Xingna. Yo, you have already learned the saying that you will be Ling Juding. Makoto. Explain that the words written by Yu Chen in the diary are classic sentences. By Wooden Golem. You guys are deliberately crooked again. Tsunade. I just don't want to hit you. Our Konoha is the center of this continent, with the best climate and resources, and the most convenient access to major countries and hidden villages. In addition, there are so many other women's families here. Choose, isn't it normal here? Samui. This is the truth, otherwise the land of fire would not have been coveted by all countries. Conan. It doesn't matter where the world government is established, as long as it brings peace to most people in the world. By Wooden Golem. What do you think is the specific framework of this world government? By Wooden Golem. According to what we know now, the 5 major congresses were destroyed. By Wooden Golem. Won't the ninja system be changed too? By Wooden Golem. Well, why didn't he introduce it in detail? Female. As expected of a Catwoman, she is also extremely curious. Regarding the conversations among the girls in the group chat, Yu Chen didn't know about it, and would only show a playful smile if he knew about it, and then said, "It's exactly as I expected." At this time, after planting the seeds in Jiraiya and the others, he said as if he didn't realize anything, "Everyone, you haven't returned to the village, but many people are worried. Besides, if the bones of the 3rd generation target don't return to Konoha, many things can't be done. If there is nothing else, let Yi Kang control my medium-sized vermilion bird to take you back." For this, everyone naturally has no objection. Trapped in this enchantment for 7 days, facing attacks every day, they really wanted to go back to Konoha to soak in the hot spring and drink a little wine to recuperate for a while. As for letting Yi Kang drive the vermilion bird mechanism beast, they are not polite with that ability now, because there are not many chakra left to mobilize and use. "Listen to you. Aren't you going to go back to Konoha with us?" Yi Kang asked. "Yes." Zhao Yuchen nodded, and said, "I want to take Ziyuan back to the Kingdom of Ghosts, strengthen the seal that seals the demons, and arrange seals and barriers around the underground palace to prevent anyone who wants to touch and release the demons. What do you think?" Zhao Yuchen looked at Ziyuan. "I listen to you, Kong." Ziyuan's delicate little face flushed with excitement. Everyone leaves, only she and Yuchen act together, isn't that a date? Although she is still a minor who has just turned 14 and cannot do certain things with Yuchen, but is able to travel around the ninja world alone with Yuchen, which is also very good. Yi Kang. What happened to the sudden envy? Master Yuchen. Zhao Yuchen raised his eyebrows slightly, and asked in doubt. "Speaking of which, you seem to have known me from the very beginning, and you seem to know me well? Just now I stopped you from using your strength indiscriminately, and you were also very obedient. I wonder how this trust came about. Oops." Yi Kang and Ziyuan's hearts suddenly thumped. As Ziyuan is a witch in the country of ghosts, it is absolutely impossible for her to know Chen. The reason why Ziyuan knows him so well is of course through the diary. But this matter must never be said. That requires a reasonable explanation. Sam Yi. Calm down, just say what you told Ziyuan, isn't that all right? Yi Kang. Can he believe me when I say it? Samui. This involves the charm of language. Yi Kang. I don't have time to listen to your crooked stories. Samui. Then you can follow the message I sent. Actually, I was the one who told Ziyuan. Yi Kang pretended to be coy. You? Zhao Yuchen asked suspiciously, why are you telling Ziyuan my information? You may not know that Ziyuan's situation is a bit special. Yi Kang said seriously. She lacks a sense of security, because she can predict the death of others. She feels that she is a disaster star, and she doesn't want to get close to people. After we were trapped here, she was very scared until she saw the time of our death, and you appeared in the prophecy to break the fate of death. Oh? And this? Zhao Yuchen was really curious. He could see that Yi Kang was not lying. So, Xian knew from the beginning that he was coming and rescued them. In that case, Ziyuan's prophecy ability would be extraordinary. After all, he is a traveler protected by a diary. Did you see me when you predicted death? Zhao Yuchen turned his head to face Ziyuan, the lines between his brows flickering. Although a white cloth is wrapped around his eyes, Ziyuan still has a feeling of being watched and seen through. She knew in her heart that this should be Yuchen looking at her through the eyes of the sky. It is very reluctant to refrain from looking at the lines between Yuchen's eyebrows, otherwise it will definitely be exposed. No, Ziyuan shook her head lightly, and said honestly, I just saw Sister Hakura, Uncle Luju, and Mr. Jiraiya when they died. But after Yi Kang mentioned your existence, Master Yuchen, all the prophesied death scenes were shattered. I once heard my mother say that this is a manifestation of fate being changed, and it also means that our witch lineage can be completely liberated from now on. So I know, Master Yuchen, you are the salvation of our lineage of witches. These words are also true from the heart. Zhao Yuchen could see that she wasn't lying, so he turned to Yi Kang. Why do you have so much confidence in me? Of course it's because of this. Yi Kang said with a smile on his own head, with your strength and your status in Konoha, you will definitely come to save people. I have your reformed kanai in my head, and I think if anyone can find this, it's you. There is nothing logically wrong with these words. So that's how it is. Zhao Yuchen relaxed his face and smiled, then you really hit the right spot. The enchantment created by the charm can isolate the induction. I can't find you through kanai, so I still use other methods. It's good if we can find it anyway. Yi Kang smiled slightly. Zhao Yuchen nodded, and then said, then I will trouble you to send Senior Luju and the others back to Konoha. No problem. I'm a member of Konoha now, it's all part of my job. Yi Kang readily agreed, and then warned in turn. It's you have to take good care of Ziyuan. I have already recognized her as my younger sister, don't bully her. Aster. Sister, there is no need to say some things. Don't worry, I'm sure I will take care of people better than you. Zhao Yuchen has his hands on his back. Yi Kang smiled noncommittally, and then asked, speaking of which, what's the matter with your eyes? Hearing this question, Jiraiya and others also pricked up their ears curiously, and looked at Yuchen at the same time. I don't know why, when I saw Yuchen again today, I always felt that he was more temperamental than 7 days ago, and he had an indescribably extravagant air. There are also great changes in terms of attire and strength. I'm practicing a special ninjutsu, and I need to temporarily not see the world with my eyes. Zhao Yuchen replied half-truthfully. It's not as good as being injured. Yi Kang breathed a sigh of relief and didn't ask any more questions. Afterwards, everyone chatted for a few more words, and Yi Kang drove the vermilion bird mechanism beast to lead everyone back to Konoha. Yi Kang. Sisters, how is my performance? Ju Zuna, in Yuchen's words, women are indeed born actors. Tamari. I think sister, you can debut. Black Soil, debut is not enough, I think I can compete with Fuji Fushuie. Ino. Sister, hurry up and make a movie, I will buy movie tickets to support you. Samui. Isn't it good that I teach? Yakumo. It doesn't matter if you teach well, I don't think my husband doubts it at all. Terumi Mei. The highest level of lying is 9 truths and 1 falsehood. Yuchen already knows about Ziyuan's affairs very well, and what Yi Kang said is so accurate, he will not doubt it. By Wooden Golem. When is this ahead? I'm not very good at acting. Pooh. All the girls rolled their eyes in unison. Catwoman. Don't be too good at acting. Sam Yi. Then you work harder, when you become Yuchen's woman, we will have a showdown with him. By Wooden Golem. Why me? Samui. Because of this group chat, now you are the only one left who clearly stated that you will not be a woman for Mr. Yuchen, and even Sister Kagaya has joined our big family. Sam Yi. With you as an outsider, we are worried about the showdown with Mr. Yuchen, because it is not a purely family matter. By Wooden Golem. The girls chatted again in the group chat, discussing, chatting, and exchanging information from time to time. On the other side, Zhao Yuchen turned his head to Ziyuan after watching Vermilion Bird disappear into the clouds, and asked, are you hungry? Hungry. Ziyuan nodded decisively. After reading the diary for so long, she knows that Zhao Yuchen's culinary skills are so good that he hooked the stomachs of those sisters. Even if she is not hungry, she still wants to taste it, let alone being trapped here for so many days, she has been eating Bingliang pills. Would you like to eat wild products or seafood? Okay, can I have some? Ziyuan asked with some confusion. So greedy. No, can't you? Okay, then let's have some barbecue, seafood are fine. Zhao Yuchen said that it doesn't matter, anyway, it is not him who is involved, but some chakra. Boom. 2 clusters of smoke rose and turned into shadows of dust. You two divide the work yourself. Yuchen waved his hand. The 2 shadow clones immediately split up and acted very efficiently. Zhao Yuchen sat cross-legged in the air, and said to Ziyuan, do you want to have power? Can I? Ziyuan asked immediately. Of course, as long as you want. I want. Then what can you give? Well, nothing is free in this world. Then, shall I be your maid? The majestic witch of the ghost country will be my maid, will you get used to it? I used to have maids too, and I think I can. Okay, deal. Yuchen didn't refuse, and stretched out his hand to touch Ziyuan's eyebrows, and said at the same time, what I'm teaching you now is the chakra refining technique, a bright medical ninjutsu modified from the dark medical ninjutsu, and a sage mode. The energy in your body is actually a special kind of blood inheriting limit force. It has been suppressed before, and it can be used as long as you master the refining technique. Because of your extraordinary talent, now you have reached the first level. In Sage mode, you can use the power of the bell to feel it a few times, and you will be able to get started immediately. Once mastered, you can seal Jonin easily with some priestess line sealing techniques. The bell of the Miko lineage is made of special stones, which have two functions of sealing chakra and helping to enter Sage mode. The latter 10 are similar to the toad oil of Mount Myoboku. However, the toad oil only passively allows the applicator to master the knack of absorbing natural energy, while the bell will activate the suppression ability after the user absorbs a certain amount of natural energy, allowing the user to directly enter a state of balance. This is also the reason why Ziyuan can immediately enter the Miko mode after awakening her power. The bell does a great job. I feel it. Ziyuan immediately practiced the chakra refining technique taught by Yu Chen. Soon, she felt that she could feel the physical strength of the combination of spiritual energy and physical energy, and extracted a special energy from it, which brought a warm feeling to the body, and can be used to do many things. She tried to guide this power to her hand, and it immediately turned into a golden light. This is an enhanced version of healing jutsu, with the power of light escape blood successor boundary. Okay, that's amazing. Ziyuan showed a bright smile, but there were tears in her eyes. With this kind of power, she can really feel that she is not a waste. This is the power to change destiny. Ziyuan, Sister Yi Kang, pull me into the group chat. Yi Kang. Join the group chat? Wait, Ziyuan, can you speak now? In the sky, Yi Kang subconsciously injected a large amount of chakra with excitement, causing the vermilion bird mechanism beast to suddenly accelerate. Jiraiya and the others, who were resting and recovering their strength, didn't pay attention, and were pushed behind by inertia. Fortunately, they can already extract a little chakra, and they can still do it by attaching their feet to the mechanism beast. Otherwise, if one accidentally falls from the mechanism beast, there will be no bones left. Feel sorry. Yi Kang was embarrassed and wanted to apologize, and immediately controlled the organ beast to slow down. Call. Everyone took a deep breath with lingering fear. Next, they dare not rest with 100% peace of mind. Ziyuan. Enin, Yu Chen big brother taught me the chakra refining technique, as well as medical ninjutsu and sage mode specially customized for me. I already have chakra now. Yi Kang. Okay, I will pull you into the group, but you can remember to feel your own chakra. Group chat consumes a lot. After speaking, Yi Kang went straight to the operation. In the group chat, the members received a reminder and came out to welcome newcomers into the group. Then, each one is a caring big sister and gives warm reminders. Fragrant phosphorus. The sisters are right, you just became a ninja, so save some chakra, you should be running out now, right? Ziyuan. Used up. No way, Yu Chen big brother said I have cage level chakra. 14 years old, chakra amount. Puff. Except for Tsunade and Wooden Golem, even Terumi Mei and Konan, who also have cage level chakra, felt like they were shot in the heart at this moment. Playing around, Tien is actually them. Kagaya. Impossible, how can you have such power?